He's not an idiot. He's just Swedish.
Won't somebody please think of the children?
Hey-oh, good Friday. It's Friday. It's finally Friday afternoon. Jesus Christ, what a Friday this has been. Yeah, Mads, it's first Fiery Red podcast. Skål everyone. Melissa Simok. Happy Friday, Vikings. And in honor of the Constantinople Vikings, we are finally here. It is Friday, and this is a finally Friday, and I blame everything on Brandon, because Brandon showed up at my previous stream, and here we are. Yeah, Mr. Brandon thought that, let's make this serious stream, drunken stream, and so he bought me a bunch of shots, and here we are, not completely sober. So I had to sleep it off on a few. Oh, really? Melissa Simak says you're the only one who pronounces my name correctly. Thank you. Yay. And I don't have brag or anything, but if your parents gave you a name only an intoxicated Swede can pronounce, they might have done something wrong. Maybe. No worries. This is just me being here, end of the work week, finally Friday. I have sent out the link to a bunch of people, and I hope some of them will be here to relieve me and stuff like that. For instance, I can say that Andrew Branca will try to be in for a bit. Dr. Heinz, get in here, I will say to him. Kaiser Pineapple, maybe not until a bit later. The experts swear he's not avoiding me. He's in a car trying to get out of town. And David at Making Law Simple, MLS Law Show. I will try. Alternate corner, maybe. And then a bunch of people who just simply haven't been here so far. So I will try to entertain you all as best as I can. But yes, I am still not really prepared for this. Normally, I do a Friday stream, and then I will do a Friday night stream. Finally, Friday. And then I will get more and more intoxicated as it goes along. But thanks to Brandon, we have a head start. Fiery Red says more. Make Istanbul Constantinople again. And Melly Cormier, happy Friday, all. Happy Friday. Oh, I have no idea what will happen today. But I have a bit prepared. Apparently I didn't. There is a bit of Jonathan Lundqvist, who is a Swedish IT support. And I will do my best to, because his take on life is amazingly funny. He is a school administrator and an IT support. And I will try to get it in to translate it because he's so funny. Oh, thank you, Fire Red, for your $5 super chat. Been a while. I hope all is well with you. Wife been injured at work and then got coof, so I have been absent. I am so sorry to hear that. I hope you all get well soon, both from injury at work and from the cough. I know that some people just simply get it the coof for an extended period of time. Sorry, and let's just hope that it will be over with soon. And here is, and I will translate for you. For you who are new here, I work in the school business and in local IT support for just about 2,100 people. I have organized and built up the functioning support at site from the foundation. And then he goes on with this is from last year. So every year he posts a thread about what IT support is like from year to year. And then he says, though few people seem to read the information in the extra information, I am thinking this semester I will experiment with meme-based learning. Let's start with popular culture. This is the computers to one of the schools of my responsibilities. Chromebooks from HP, not random. During the nearest time, they will sort, and every computer serial numbers will will go on to a name in the list of classes. That way I will always know which student has what computer. Yeah, he has work to do. There's a sign on the door. Call this number if you are here with computers. Exclusively people who doesn't have one freaking computer is calling. I wish I got paid off the amount of desperation in the voice of the people who goes through the doors and is seeking my help. The only thing I don't like about this work is the unholy low salary and wrong work title, which I have been trying to fix for a year now. Updating information on walls. The police shareable information from A4 to A3, and among the means I didn't choose because of lack of space is this one. Oh, I keep hitting the escape key, but I'm still here. Oh, poor Jonathan. Poor Jonathan. More computers who are up to sorting. According to my list, 272. My time frame is 2 days. This is for one of the school under my responsibility. That's 2 pallets of computers. Oh, you poor thing, Jonathan. Today, computers are distributed to a long line of students. Totally 15 classes from two different schools will get one computers and something. I'm seeing the discussion whether kids and youth shall replace computers they get or who are not replaceable. Since last time I was asked, I can inform I don't handle that policy. My service is just the foundation. Then the school will handle it any way they can. Dear DIF Football, please make your fans not cover the serial numbers, because that way it will take longer before they get back their computer and then can't book tickets to football. Yeah, for you who are receiving computers through schools, this is a bad idea. Really, really bad idea. Student who doesn't know where their computers are normally are distributed one of the older computers in storage as their lend computer. Normally, they will find their old computers really fast, often the next day. According to an article in Daily News, parents contacted me both via mail and phone. Every time I have to explain I don't have any control of school policy. A student who needs a computer will get one after control. That control doesn't involve whether they have signed a contract or not. It's mostly where their earlier computer is. I will ban it if necessary, and I will take down the relevant serial numbers. Student stops me outside and wants help with the computer and wants help on the spot. Turns out it is his younger brother from high school whose computer has locked it, but the teacher who is supposed to help them doesn't have time. I fix. I return. Should bill the competitor. Got a report of a stolen computer, fixed in the system. I'm checking the logs. I'm sorry I can't see the exact email, That would have been more fun. Have fun with your new letterpress. Mail from parent. I have taken the decision to not repair a computer because the extended high cost. I get questioned because I haven't made the cost too much and ordered repairs for more than a new computer cost. Mads says there's an art to his job. The first thing he must practice is determined walk. That is, whenever you leave your office, you must walk with a purpose. Otherwise, you will be stopped 117 times. Yeah. And Grace says, yes. Law is at the fez. Yes, I am wearing a fez today. Cheers. Let's see more. Felanmälan. Report. MacBook Air plays video in ultra rapid if you connect the HDMI via the USB-C adapter. Solved. Restart. Everything is fine again. The most frustrating errand is when you can't recreate the fault. It's not always the person who reported it that can be there. Let's see here if I can go back to more like 2022. Computer who was forgotten on an active stove. As if it wasn't enough, my responsibility is try to recreate data who disappeared when the person who asked of help before it was reformatted. Yeah, if you forget it on a stove, no. This is honey. It was spilled on a computer I received yesterday. Apparently he missed the teacup. With how much, I don't want to know. Yeah, don't spill things on your computer. Just saying. Rabbit says, I refurbished laptops for my student that could not afford one. Thank you so much for your responsibility. The student who had this computer didn't want to return it, even though it stopped working. He thought it was a piece of art. Debatable. Yeah, don't put stickers all over your computer. Just saying. Just saying. This is not a good choice. This damage, because the student dropped the computer. So far, I haven't gotten on to any student with actually admitting that this was happened. The computer just was in the bag. Yeah, but where the bag was, apparently it had no dampening. Yeah. A pile of rubbish. I'm not overly enthusiastic about Lenovo 300 series. On its third year, they make a long round of errors that are too expensive worth fixing. Another dropped computer. Now, this is what he's going through as an IT support. It just was in the bag is the correct error for this fault. Some of the school has too small bags. Yeah, not good. Yeah, let's return to that in a while. And again, thank you, Fiery Red Podcast, for your $5 super chat. I'm not entirely sure how long I will last today because I normally start out completely sober. I'm not sober. So I have no idea how long I will last today. Hi Bella Stella, nice to see you. Nice to see you. This stream is going on both Rumble and YouTube. I have no idea how long I will last. Let's move on to unless people will show up so I can get some help with that. Let's move on with weird news from Mirror. And here. Woman freaked out after spotting ghost reflected in fiance's wedding ring. Yeah. Rabbit asked, do I have someone to turn off your stream if you fall asleep? No. Ta-da! Or I might just do this for an hour and then fuck off and hope for the best. Let's just read a bunch of stuff and then let's see how long I will last. There. A bride-to-be was left feeling freaked out after spotting what appeared to be a ghost in the reflection of the fiancé's wedding ring. But after realizing who it looked like, she felt comforted. Huh. A shocked Mama Vaughn was freaked out after believing she had spotted the ghost of a late granddad in her fiancé's wedding band, but now believes he was giving them his nod of approval at the choice. It's no surprise that Becky Cyril had a fright after spotting a figure peering back at her after ordering the wedding band online. Yeah, kids, don't do drugs. Just don't. Becky, 27, explained how she sat in silence with her son Arlo, age 2, mulling over what she'd seen. She had ordered the ring for her fiancé, Adrian Jobson, online, as they had been struggling to find one that fitted. When it arrived, Becky tried it on and took a photo of it while standing in the hallway to send to her fiancé. When she took the photo, she was stunned after spotting a grey figure peering out from the wedding band. The image she took bears Becky's middle finger. Read between the lines. With the silver wedding ring on it, and what appears to be a figure with grey hair wearing a brown top in the reflection. That's not me. That's not me. That's not me. Just saying. Becky from Bromsgrove, Worcestershire, admitted she was initially freaked out, but when family members pointed out it looked just like an image of her great-granddad Samuel Brown, the HR manager felt comforted. She explained, we ordered the ring and then when it arrived, I said, Adrian, a photo of me wearing it. I thought it would be too small. Yeah, no. Don't do drugs, kids. Don't do drugs. Let's see something else here. Dun dun dun. Aries asks, Set a fest on your head. Happy Friday, Saturday. Yeah. If you're in the United States, it is still Friday. If you are in Sweden, it's past midnight. And if you're in Australia, it's been tomorrow for quite a few hours. Let's see this. Woman pleads with sister to avoid a baby name that she can't read without crying. Yeah. Oh, Valhalla. No, I won't invite people. It might just be that I drink this and the shots I owe Brandon, and then I'm just going to fuck off. Sorry for after 25 minutes. Oh, there he is. Cheers. This is your fault. I couldn't plan anything because I tried to sleep it off unsuccessfully. Why am I effing off? Because nobody's here to join me, but I can try to send you an invite. Mr. Valhalla waits. Yeah, I've not been exactly sober for a good number of hours. Here, Valhalla, I sent you through Discord so you can. I didn't make it in the 15 beers on the side. No, that's true. That's true. That's true. Whew. Valhalla, you SOB, I just let my goats out because I didn't get a link. I'm sorry. And now you have. Hi, Valhalla.
What is going on, y'all?
I have no idea.
This is your fault. You have to deal with crappy audio and crappy video now because you waited way too long to send a link.
Yeah.
How did you send any more out?
The what? The who? The what? Why? What?
Did you send any more out? I should probably move my hand away from the speaker.
Links? Yeah, I sent a bunch of people. I sent out to Dr. Ketchup. I sent out to David, to Branca, to Kaiser, to Expert, to
Dr. Ketchup said he was going to be here tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw he was live earlier. He was talking about it.
Yeah, but he's not here yet. And I hope he will. And
that's bad.
Jesus Christ. Last half hour of last stream, Brandon bought me a bunch of shots, and I'm not exactly sure where I am in intoxication regarding.
He's good at that. He's good at messing things up for everybody. And we love him for it. Did it work? Yeah, it worked.
Goats. Oh, I love goats.
I'm a fan. Yeah. I'm a fan.
Yeah. I mean, they are virtually has no brains, but they are funny to look at, and sometimes goats show affection, and that's sweet.
I do disagree slightly with the no brains comment. Sometimes these little bastards are way too smart for their own good.
Yeah, but that is because you're expecting too little of them, and then they surprise you.
That could be too, actually.
Rabbit says they are smarter than you think. Yeah, because you have no expectations on goats. And all of a sudden, they show an inkling of smartness, and there you are.
They're
fun, how have you been doing? How have you been doing this week, Valhalla?
Pretty good. pretty good. We did lose 2 goats this week.
Oh,
Yeah,
Lose?
which is a little sad, but I think we got it figured out. So I've only lost
Lose
2 this
at-
year, knock on wood, and that's not terrible.
oh, lose as in they ran away, or lose as in you found them but not alive?
Yes, they are. They got worms pretty bad, I think, and I couldn't get it figured out.
Oh, yeah. Poor bastard. But they eat anything, and you don't realize it often until it's too late.
Well, especially with goats, because they're prey.
Yeah.
Right? They're not supposed to show weakness, otherwise they'll get hunted. So they usually, by the time they're showing symptoms, it's pretty bad shape.
Yeah. They are not smart enough to show you when they're sick unless they are really, really sick. And then all of a sudden, okay, I should have called the vet 5 days ago.
Yes.
Mm.
Well, and you know, if the first round of medicine doesn't quite work, then it usually goes really bad really fast.
And thank you to, I assume that's Brandon, for your $20 super chats, which means we are soon off on the rallies again. Oh, Jesus Christ.
But we got most everybody's back in real good shape. I got one more that's still a little rough looking, but I think she's on the mend.
Yeah, that's good. Other than that, Mrs. Valhalla is doing okay?
Yeah. She actually, well, we're not quite sure exactly what's going to happen, but she was offered a job today, so she may be transferring jobs. We don't know yet.
Nice.
We got to crunch some numbers.
Desk job or
people job.
People job. Okay. Yeah, well, she's better at it than you are.
Agreed. Wholeheartedly.
Yeah. And for you who are in the chat right now, go over and subscribe to Valhalla Waits. Are you getting closer to getting monetized? How many hours do you have left?
So keep in mind that when we started this Val Needs Watch Hours thing, I only had like 400 hours. Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm up to, I broke 1,800. So I got about 1,200 left.
Nice.
Yeah, it's moving pretty quickly. I'm pretty stoked about it. You guys rock.
Yeah. Well, we are trying to get you on, and my streams are always, if you choose to, if you choose to, you can always go have it.
Joint streaming?
Dual streaming. Thank you.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
I'm not in good shape here, so I don't know how many minutes that will be.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, Ari says, oh, we love goat cam. Yeah, goats are amazing to look at because it's like cats. You can just get a camera and you have entertainment.
Pretty much.
Yeah. I have not a neighboring farm, but the farm about an hour away who does this. That's not goat cam, but people can just show up and be there. Just
that's pretty cool.
At them. Yeah.
I'm gonna eventually get a live cam set up so you guys can just tune in and watch the goats anytime you want. But that's a ways down the road still.
Yeah. Dirk says, I used to want to go for tail hiking companion, but my bottom lease had no goat claws.
So do you know that that's a thing, Nicholas?
Is it?
Yeah, you can. So you can train them to like pack like you would a mule. You can. They have like little saddles and stuff that you can put gear on. And a lot of guys will go take them like through Yosemite and stuff with like 10, 15 goats, and the goats haul all their equipment.
Okay. No, I didn't know that.
It's pretty cool.
I know there are some farms in Sweden that uses it, and they have a rent-a-goat, as in mow your lawn kind of thing. But that's about it. That's about what I know about how you do it in Sweden. That's
an idea that we are toying with for down the road as well. There's a lot of opportunities with goats. They're just really stressful.
Cindy
All the time.
Lauhoot says, "Oh, Valhalla, any fish in the pond?"
There's minnows every year. I haven't tried to fish it, but there's minnows every year, so there's something in there.
All right, all right.
I know the last guy used to fish for like bullheads and stuff with his kids. Last guy that owned it.
Yeah. I have to take a whiz, but tell everybody about yourself, and I will try to survive the walk.
Will do. Let me bear with me, y'all, while I switch my camera back. Almost there. This is so ridiculous on a phone. There we go. Well, for those that don't know me, I am Valhalla Awaits. You can find me at Valhalla Awaits on YouTube. And I have a goat farm. We raise goats. We sell the goats as livestock, along with a couple other animals. I do, I guess I really haven't done much goat footage lately. My bad. But we do Lego builds with MLS Law Show, or that's not his name anymore. No, it's MLS Network, right? And I jump around YouTube and jump on everybody else's channel so I can get them all demonetized instead of myself. That was a joke. I can try to pull up chat. So if you guys have any questions or whatever, let me know. Ugh.
Oh,
Annoying.
yeah. I have stairs on the way to the bathroom, and that might
Thank you,
have
Rep.
been a bad idea.
Well, you made it back, so it wasn't too
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah. And well, having the fez on my head, yeah, this is might not be one of the proudest moments of my streaming career, but cheers.
Cheers, brother. Thank you, Rabbit. Oh, I didn't bring any beer. All I got is water. Because, like I said, I didn't get a link.
Sorry.
It's okay. We've all been there.
If you don't realize it, me and Valhalla, we are actually not related. We were trying to find out
We don't think we are.
No, we were trying to find out, have I met his mom at some point? But no, it doesn't seem like that.
Oh. We can't find a loop back between the ancestral lines, but it might be there somewhere, man.
Yeah, it probably will, because there are a bunch of traits that are eerily similar.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because if you just look at the both of us,
Not too.
I mean, if we walk down the street somewhere, people either father and son or brothers.
Guaranteed.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Yeah, and if I ever get my ass over to the United States, we might test that theory.
Bring your ass, man.
Yeah,
You're more than welcome here.
We should both do a DNA test. Well, yeah, but then we put ourselves in the hands of the government.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
No.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I refuse to do this 23andMe and whatever test, because they claim, oh, we will never turn it over to the feds.
Whatever.
And then they turn it over to the feds.
Yeah, they need a warrant if they want me to take that thing.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not doing shit unless a warrant is in place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You want to see the ghost back there? Oh yeah, you can. Cool.
Yeah. But I'm sorry I didn't send you a link earlier so you could have a beer or 20.
No, you're fine. I was just messing with you. No worries at all, brother.
Oh,
but I figured, if I wasn't gonna be on the show, I should probably let the goats out for a little while.
Yeah, but goats feel better out in the wild anyway.
Oh, hell yeah. I was running around all morning. Didn't have a chance to let them out until just like 4:30 or something.
Oh.
I got a new saw today. I got a new Milwaukee cordless saw that I'm pretty excited about.
Oh, for small or big branches?
Well, it's a circular saw, so it's for construction stuff,
Yeah. Oh, those are good.
Good. I was gonna, so I can put that stupid turtle tank stand together. That's why I got it.
Okay, yeah. So everybody who is in the chat and viewing right now, get over to Valhalla so he can get monetized, so he can get more stuff to help him in his building a farm stuffy.
Please.
Yeah, yeah. I already have those, and I can instruct. I have construction done on downstairs, and as you all know, it's construction being done downstairs, not someone in the cellar trying to escape.
So you say.
Absolutely. Oh,
That's healthy.
yeah. No, I'm still having the when you were at the stream of whoever, when you watched the footage of Matsuri, when you
Flux.
realize, yeah, Flux,
Yeah, on Flux's channel.
yeah, and all of a sudden Chandler showed up. Oh, yeah, I didn't realize either how she is not the tallest of persons, but she has um, traits that are visible at some point.
She's pretty
Yeah.
short, more like 5'1" or something. 5 foot.
Yeah,
5'1",
5 foot -1 or something.
something like that.
Yeah, but with that, like double D's upon that was all right. Hello.
Yeah, it caught me off guard. It caught me by surprise. I may have reacted a little bit.
Yeah. So did Ozzy. I heard it because he sat down and here's Chandler and looked to the left, and she was standing right there and in his field of vision. Holy fuck! Oh,
Yeah, that may have been an excited utterance of my own there.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I understand why Chandler wants to have her streaming like head to not the entirety of her chest.
It's a lot easier to focus on what she's saying that way. I'll give her that.
Yeah, I agree. But Chandler is a highly intelligent and gorgeous woman.
Oh, I love Chandler. She's awesome.
Yeah.
She's awesome.
I don't know if I send her the link. Oh, let's check here. I should have. Dun, dun, dun. Oh! Not Chandler, but somebody else who keeps my chat going. Hello, Dr. Heinz. Hello, it's Friday. It's close to midnight where you are in the United Kingdom.
It's 2:00 where you are.
Yeah. I've seen you have done a Q&A about your
Johnny Depp and Amber Heard.
Yeah. How and apparently you have been watching One Piece. And
you got it. You got it.
How have you been doing, Ketchup Man?
Gosh, I just realized I left my glass in the kitchen, so not too great. I needed my whiskey glass for this one.
Oh,
and, yeah, it's back in the kitchen, so
yeah, go get it, because I have no freaking idea how long I will going to stream today.
Oh, okay. I won't be here for long, like I think half an hour.
Okay, then I will survive. I will survive. Yeah.
Dr. Helton today was my newest addition to the wrench collection. He modded me today in that stream.
Really? Okay. Yeah. I mean, every time Dr. Heinz is on my stream, there are wet panties everywhere. Ladies really like Dr. Heinz.
He's lying to you. You say this every time. You're lying to your viewers.
Well, my panties are pretty wet right now. That's all I'm saying.
No, but really, back in March or April when you went on my stream, every girl in my chat went, "Oh, who's that?" But But seriously, you're a good-looking man, Dr. Heinz. That's not debatable, and the chat recognizes it.
No lies detected.
Yeah, but
why do you do this?
because it's
You
funny.
know how I feel every single. Why? Why?
Because it's funny. Just because apparently you are not aware of how good looking you are. And it's so funny to watch you react to the females in my chat. And yeah.
I have an inappropriate joke that I'm not going to say.
No, but welcome and congratulations to your success on the Heard v Depp documentary. And we are all waiting for part 2 of that documentary.
I can't wait to release that one. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I have been. I'll be honest. I said it in the stream earlier. Thank you for the congratulations, by the way. So I do appreciate that. I said it in the stream earlier that the only reason why it's been delayed because it was meant to be out literally that week, that next week. But when after I finished the old, I was quite simplistic in my thinking because I thought, okay, cool, finish the all nighters, 6 days straight, you'll be fine. Upload on Sunday, go out, take a day off on Monday. You'll be back. You'll be all right. You'll be all right. Sleep well Monday. Sleep well Sunday night. Sleep well Monday, and you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Nope. My body was like, no, I'm not doing this again. No, we're not doing this again. We're not doing this again.
Oh.
Yeah. So it was literally for the whole week. It was just brain fog after brain fog. Nothing was clicking. I literally, I kid you not, I would sit down, set everything to go. And I would just sit there and nothing goes in. Not like I'm literally looking at the screen. I'm like, Jesus Christ, what is actually going on?
Yeah.
We're not 20 years old anymore, man. We can't do that.
Yeah. But I understand you because sometimes after you release something successful, then you reboot, then you have to get back to that mindset. And sometimes it's not there.
Yeah.
So I completely understand, especially if you get the success you're not expecting.
Yeah, I didn't even consider that. I just thought I was burnt out because I expended so much energy, getting this done because that's physical, that's mental, that's probably spiritual as well. Who knows?
Yeah.
I probably put everything I had into doing the first one and without even knowing, like, anyway, it's like I don't like. I am trying to celebrate my wins. I'm trying to, but but it's one of those ones where I just didn't. I not only didn't expect it, but I also, it's one of those ones that I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm still in, if you want to call it dreamland, or I'm like, wow, close to 10K views. I've never had 10K. I've never had 10K anything. I've never had 10K money. I've never had 10K.
Yeah. I mean, for channels as tiny as ours are, getting 10K views, it's unheard of. I mean,
that's a big deal.
That's every day for you. That's like that's like a 3-pointer every game. You shoot a 3-pointer, you got it every game.
10K is huge.
I haven't had one stream or a video at 10K. My biggest is like 2 days ago.
Yeah, 3K. I saw that.
5.6K, and I have no idea how that happened.
It's grown.
Yeah.
Last time I saw it was 3K.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, and apparently, but it's a very sensitive trial, and every other trial streamer, crime tuber, just fuck it and abandoned it. But I'm here like I covered this trial for weeks.
Yeah,
I'm going to continue until the verdict is in, the sentencing is in, And apparently that's not the normal among us who trial stream or crime tube or law tube. Sometimes, fuck it, let's just restart on another trial. I can't do that. So
I
all of a
appreciate
sudden,
that,
it's
by the way.
it's just me covering the. Let's wait for the verdict to come in, and
Yeah.
I'm the only one. And all of a sudden, everybody was in my stream, and I don't know why, but it's if you're not used to it, it gets to you, because all of a sudden a lot of people rely on you, and I'm not used to that.
I mean,
I mean,
well, to be quite fair, yeah, to be quite fair, your approach is what is taught in business school, right?
okay.
If you find, even if even if you have a product that isn't selling, but you know what it is, you know what could sell, stick it on the shelf, market the hell out of it, the dividends will come. If it's selling well, which I think yours is, it's booming. Even if
Okay.
no one else is, your competitors not selling that same product, it's great for you. So don't, in my opinion, don't worry about it. Like this is literally how Apple gets made. Like no one was buying Apple back then, but they had their core community that was keeping them going for a while because of their iPod. Then when they brought out their iPhone and when it was really behind, you know, people were still buying it. But then the 5 dropped, the 6 dropped, and then history was made. Don't worry,
Okay.
like, you know, I honestly just feel like you don't have to, and I think you know this because you got tons of experience anyway in life. In life, you really don't worry about other channels, honestly. Like I think what you're doing is even unique. Like
Okay.
yeah, it's even unique because because you don't, for me, from what I see from the outside, you don't actually look at the trial that everyone is talking about. I think that's a very good niche to go down. You know, like
Okay.
you see something, you like, I'm gonna follow this, and that mindset, whether you know are aware of it or not, that creates an air of anticipation with your followers. Like they know if you cover this trial, you're gonna see it through to the end, so they're not gonna get disappointed investing time in it. You know?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. I didn't think of that.
Yeah. No. Yeah. That's most people don't. So I don't even blame you, but that is the reality. Like when people watch you, they are investing their time. So like if you just switch halfway through, even if it's just one person out of 90 that likes that, even if you just want one person, that one upset person, you should lose sleep over it, basically, because that's your customer, you know. That's one unsatisfied customer, you know.
Okay. Yeah. So that's my core customer relies
exactly
on me to actually follow through.
Absolutely.
And since I actually follow through, that brings in more people who wants to look. It might never be the biggest of all the channels, but they can always rely on me to go through with it, even if it only gets me 10%.
Five viewers. Even if you get 5 viewers.
Yeah.
You're basically a Toyota. You're basically a Toyota.
Hopefully a Camry.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I can see that but in my mind, when I cover trials, for me, I want to know the end result.
I'll be right back. I just figured something out.
If I want to know, I want to relay that to my audience, that I'm going to see this through, even if it's 5 people watching it, because so many people are only interested in, here's the beginning of the trial, here's the end according to them of the trial, but they don't really are bothered about the result of the trial. They only want the trial. And there are plenty of channels for that. And I can't do that because I want to know what's next.
Absolutely.
Well,
What's
you
the
know,
risk?
I do have a something to add, I suppose, that I find pretty awesome about you in particular. As
All
far
right.
as the streams go, right? Like you, and don't take this the wrong way, please, but you're not an American lawyer, right? You're trained in law, you understand law, but there's a lot of nuances that you yourself have to kind of dig into.
Mm.
So it gives the viewer a more educational approach. Maybe you can relate to the us laymen a little better than some of the other lawyers. So that I do find interesting about your content, and I think
Okay,
that's a positive, not a negative, by the way.
Yeah. And maybe next guest can say something about it. Hello, Andrew Branca.
Hey, yeah,
How you
not
doing,
American lawyers
Blanca?
suck.
How you doing?
I'm living the dream, man. Good day today.
Bad boy.
Yeah, you went to Europe and traveled around Eastern Europe on a motorcycle, and I was so envious. You traveled to parts I haven't seen yet, and I've seen a lot of
It was
Eastern Europe.
it was
That was
great. We did Vienna, Hungary, Czech Republic, Slovakia, Poland, Germany. It was it was about as awesome as you might imagine.
oh,
So you're back home
yeah.
now?
Yeah, I've been back a couple weeks, planning the next trip already.
Nice.
Yeah. I wish there's a Scottish motorcycle trail that passes you through all the distilleries in Scotland. It's a 2-week trail. Me and my dad
How do you combine
talking...
that? How do you combine distilleries and riding a motorcycle?
Yeah,
That seems
I
a bad
have no
combination.
I have no idea. Maybe it's 5 distilleries in 2 weeks because you need a hangover day. I don't know. But me and my dad has been talking about it for so long, and it's so sad because Dad is getting really old now, and we've been talking about it for so many years, and we still haven't done it. And now I don't know if Dad is capable of it, and that's saddening because, yeah.
They make
Well,
trikes
that's
for a
unfortunate.
Yeah.
I mean, riding a motorcycle is an inherently dangerous activity, right? And eventually we all get to an age where it's not safe anymore. That'll happen to me too, sadly. I hate to think about it. But if you can still go, listen, nobody's on their deathbed saying, I'm so happy I didn't take that motorcycle trip.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And I know I will, because on Sunday we were supposed to be at a local European football game. But he can't go because he recently was hospitalized again because he has this thought that unless I'm dying, I'm not going to the doctor.
Sure.
Yeah. And
I can relate.
And all of a sudden mom forced him to the doctor because he was up all night coughing. You know, this, it's just a cough thing. And then he spends 2 nights in hospital, and it's so infuriating because I want to do stuff with my dad. And because I'm not getting any younger. My body really don't want to be around anymore, parts of it at least. And it's so infuriating to know that we've been talking about this for so long and never did it, and now maybe we're not capable of it.
They make trikes for a reason, Nicholas. They make trikes for a reason.
So maybe I will get a trike with a sidebar so I can just bring him along.
There you go.
Yeah. And he will refuse because he still can do everything on his own. Because he's that generation, and it's infuriating.
My old man passed it 59, so get it in while you can, gentlemen. Get it in while you can.
Mm-hmm. My dad is reaching the 80s, and and that in itself is great because few men in my family reaches that many years past 70, and he's approaching 80. So yeah.
Figure
Yeah,
out.
well, I hope he will push this one through so I can just, hey, we're going. I don't care if it's a soccer game or if it's travel, but damn it, he needs to experience it either way. Yeah.
By the way, sidebar for a second. I'm not sure if anyone has told you, Andrew, but you look like
Brad Pitt.
Actually, I was gonna
Thank
say
you. Thank you.
I was gonna say the guy from Arrested Development. I forgot his
The
name.
redheaded guy?
Huh?
The redheaded
I
guy?
know that show.
Oh no, it's damn it, it's the brother of fuck, I suddenly forgot their names. It's not the guy that joined the Blue Man Group. It's the other one that is always getting into. I can't remember his name.
The one who does the magic tricks.
Yes, that's the one. That's the one. Yes, yes. You look like him so much. Like,
well, thank you. I guess.
I'm not sure who he is. I don't know if it's a compliment or a burn. I'm not sure where to go with this.
it's a compliment.
On
Yeah,
my
I
Twitter
have-
profile, you can put your name and then you can explain how it's pronounced. And mine says Andrew Branca, pronounced Brad Pitt.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, no. Either way, I'm so jealous because after your European trip, you had a trip through the mountains in the United States, didn't you, Andrew?
That I do several times a year because I live here in the mountains. I live in Colorado, so there's tons of. I'm actually taking my first motorcycle trip since Europe will be in 2 weeks, but it'll be a 3-day trip through the mountains. Yeah, out to Durango, Colorado, and then to Taos, New Mexico, and then back up to Denver. But those are easy for me because I'm right on the edge of the mountains. So there's lots of 3-day, 4-day. And by the way, I've ridden the Swiss Alps. I've ridden all over Western Europe and now Eastern Europe. And the Colorado Rockies are the best riding in the world. I don't care what anybody says. It's like a picture postcard every time you take a turn. It's like
Have you
painting.
Have you rode the Appalachians yet?
I have, yeah, because I used to live in Boston, and I had friends in DC, so I would ride up and down the Appalachian Blue Ridge Parkway, Tail of the Dragon, all that. I've ridden all those for 10 or 15 years, and that's fun. That's really good riding too. But you know, the highest peaks there are like 3,000 feet. Here in Colorado, I live at 7,000 feet, and the mountains go up to 12,000, 14,000 feet. So it's different. The Appalachian Trail is much greener. I'll give it that. And the riding there is good, but it tends to be crowded there because it's on the East Coast and so many more people live there, than when I go up in the mountains here in Colorado. In the weekends, it's crowded, so I don't go because there's camping and stuff. But if you go during the week, it's like a health club, a health club with 10,000 members and only 12 guys ever show up on a regular basis. That's what it's like up in the mountains. There's nobody there in the middle of the week. I feel there's roads in the Colorado Rockies. I feel like if there was a toll that I had to pay $100 to get on that road, I would pay that 5 times a day. That's how good the roads are. They're just amazing, and they're free.
Yeah,
as they should be.
Yeah, one of my things to do is doing the cross country United States. I don't care if it's with an RV or just car and staying at hotels, because it's that not the Route 66, but the route that goes north of Route 66. I don't know what it's called.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah, there's a lot of them, and because it's a once in a lifetime thing. Just as going through Eastern Europe and doing the train rides, but I've been looking at those, and those are mostly pure crap. So I think one of the few lasting trips that is worth it is the cross-country United States ones. What do you think, Dali? Hey.
Oh, I just got here.
Hey, Sal.
Hey.
Hey, Sal. Yeah, I've been drunk since 4 hours ago, and I don't know how long I will continue, but that's the fault of Brandon. And
Branca, I actually think we're gonna meet in September, right? In Nashville.
I will be in Nashville. Yep, I
Yeah,
just booked my flight yesterday, actually.
Hell yeah. I was talking to Ricada the other night about what days he's doing what or whatever, and I have a feeling I'll get a chance to meet you then, so that'll be cool.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll definitely be there on Saturday. Saturday evening, I'll be there. I'm actually flying out the whole family. My family's not been to Nashville before, so we're making it kind of a mini family vacation. But I'll definitely be at the get together on Saturday for sure.
Cool. This is my first.
That'll
trip
be fun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm bringing the wife. It'll be we're gonna be there the Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights. I'm excited.
Sorry. Yeah, and David is actually traveling to Sweden.
Yeah.
So we will have a meetup on Tuesday or Wednesday. And
Nice.
that will be fun because we haven't actually met so far. We have done a lot of streams together, but on Wednesday we will have a meetup. And it's the last week of my vacation. So it's good planning. Because last week of my vacation, I'm supposed to spend time with my significant other. I have to meet up with David. I have to drive up north. Yeah, fun times.
That whole Atlantic Ocean really gets in the way of people meeting each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should live closer.
Right? Move
Yeah,
over here.
Yeah, that's up to the members and stuff like that if I'm supposed to move over. But so far, I'm just staying here and trying to get my new studio going. I have put in a bid on an actual what's it called? What's it called in English? One of these. Let's.
The Connex trailer. The Connex trailer.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can show it here of some sort.
I'm pretty excited about that thing, by the way. I want to see what you do to it.
It's one of these kind of things. One of these.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So I put in a bid. I don't know if I'm going to get it. And then I will spend the winter just remodel it to make it... Let's move this over there. There, you can see me. So I can get it to a somewhat year-round studio. Yeah, that will be amazing. So I can smoke cigars on stream because I don't smoke indoors and stuff like that. Yeah, so that is the next goal of the channel. So if you in the chat wonders what's my money going to, well, it's one of these things probably. I don't know if I will win the bid, but at least I put a bid in on it.
I hope you do. I'm excited for you.
No.
Yes.
And last thing I put money on is so I got an actual microphone, so I don't have to speak into the webcam microphone. So this is a Yeti kind of microphone.
I was looking at one of those.
That's a great brand. That is a great brand.
And the kid in the electronic store said, well, low to mid tier uses this and blah 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 blah. Okay, yeah, sure. And then he talked about the high end stuff, and okay, that sounds really really good. What's the cost of that? And he told me the price, and I'm no, I don't. That I can buy a car for that money.
For real.
And in my sense of things, if I can buy a functioning car or a webcam, I will choose an actual car. I mean, or a microphone or a car. I mean, I don't know if I will ever reach the level of Ricada or EDB or something. My guess is they have stuff like that. They can buy a microphone at the price of a car, but I'm not there. I'm not there.
Well, I'll tell you this for free. You don't need to buy a microphone for the price of a car to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You might as well give me the money. I'll find a better use for it. I'll find a better
Yeah.
prostitute.
Just send us the money, and we'll tell you that you sound great.
And really, that's just as good.
No, this was like a $200, and thank you, chat members and super chatters, for allowing me, because this is now what I do with my channel is now a business. I had to because of tax reasons. I have to have it as an actual business, and so whatever comes in goes to improvement of the computer and sound. Next step will be a better webcam. I don't know why, because this $30 webcam is doing a great job.
Yeah.
But for tax reasons, apparently I have to improve things. I don't know. But
Yeah,
my
I still
$30
use an old Logitech webcam that I've
I
had
was literally about to say
5
that.
or 6
Get that
years,
one.
and it works fine, man.
Yeah.
I see these people buy these giant DSLR setups, and I'm like, wow, what are you doing? Are you filming
Can't
porn?
even tell a difference.
No,
Yeah.
the audio I think is actually more important, and the Yetis work fine if you don't have a lot of background noise. They do pick up a lot of background noise. So if you have like a little mini fridge in the room and it starts humming, the Yeti picks it right up. That's the nice thing about some of the like the Shure mics, like this one here. Obviously, I'm not using it at the moment, but you'll see when people use them, their mouth is real close to the microphone because it only picks up sound right next to the microphone. So it gets rid of all that background noise. But listen, I have every level of microphone from the shittiest $35 model you can imagine up to that Shure, because I kept, as I was doing more and more of this, I would invest a little money every couple of years and upgrade. But I didn't start with a $400 Shure microphone for sure.
Hey, by the way, I use a DSLR camera, so please watch it.
Well, you do look very good.
And you notice how close he is to that microphone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. By the way, Nicholas, if you get a dedicated monitor, like a sound card, it would actually sort out the background sound for you. But it depends on which one, because it does have an isolator built-in. So
okay.
Wait, yeah. So if you connect it to it now, yeah, it might be a bit. It might pick up literally your neighbor down the street just ordering food. You might actually overhear.
I used to when I had a Yeti microphone, it would pick up the sound of birds outside that were chirping.
It's really strong.
And the trains and the police cars going by your office.
You 1000% hear my roosters in the studio, in my office. When you always hear the roosters going out here.
Now I have this bought this Yeti, and I added the spit.
I will say this. If you invest, forget the sound card for a minute. If you literally invest in your room, right, and you get it padded out, that Yeti will sound like the crispest. It will literally sound like your natural voice coming out without. It's really good. Like
if
you just need to get the technicals correct.
Yeah, so that is what this is about. So I can get out of the house, because once I next summer I will be done with the renovation downstairs and I can rent it out. But they might have issues with me speaking at 1 a.m. So that hence the actual building a studio of sorts.
That sounds like a they problem. That sounds like a they problem.
Like, me and my neighbor got an agreement. I don't complain about them having sex. They don't complain about me talking all night. So that's our agreement. That's our agreement.
You don't put them on mic?
All right. According to Brandon,
I get some super chats for that.
Yeah. Someone bought me another shot. Oh crap!
Oh goody! I'm excited.
Yeah, why not? And
Bronco, what do you ride again?
A BMW R1250 GS Adventure.
and
pull up a picture.
to make a disturbance in the wieners, here's Mo.
Mo.
Hello.
Hi,
You know
Mo.
Nothing about wieners?
Well,
I'm here for it, but
Not
why?
anymore. Not anymore.
Well, yeah, not
Why not?
I saw enough of that.
How have you been? How have you? Oh, I need you to describe the trial you're covering.
Imagine, if you will, a dumpster fire on top of a volcano, in the middle of a Sharknado with porn stars.
With
Porn
That's
stars?
right.
Transsexual porn stars.
Whoa.
That sounds like a great Friday night. Wait, did you say trans?
Yeah.
Oh god, that sounds that sounds like,
With a very short skirt, by the way.
Dressed up like a naughty schoolgirl.
oh,
Yeah.
God.
It was
You don't
either that
speak
or his
trans.
nun. I mean, or her. Smizmar, Shim, her, I don't know.
Yeah. I'll go assume their pronouns.
Yeah, I'm not going to assume anything anymore. It's 2023. We might have found the Loch Ness Monster and Bigfoot. I don't even know.
Well,
And aliens.
aliens are real now, so who knows?
Oh, yeah.
God bless
what-
America.
Yeah,
Well, like, God bless
everything
the
interesting
news.
is happening in the United States of America. Like
You say
transport
interesting.
stores. Yeah.
Horrifying.
I don't know that I would use the word interesting.
Uh,
Ridiculous, maybe.
Can we use scare roused?
That works.
That's interesting. See what I did there? Little full circle action.
Hey guys.
Yes.
Yeah, it is a crazy trial. I am surprised that it's kind of flown under the radar, to be honest.
I don't know how.
Because you
It's
have porn
amazing.
stars, Drew Carey, not Bob Barker.
What trial are you watching?
Yeah, Drew Carey's ex-fiance
So
was
it-
murdered. Or unalive, sorry.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Dr. Amy Harwick was
A sex therapist.
a sex therapist to the adult film star industry, which again is kind of like shooting fish in a barrel, because it's not like the adult film star industry has daddy issues or anything. But I'm saying, it's almost like you have a built-in clientele. So if you're going to be
It's
a
genius.
psychiatrist to anyone, pick an industry that's going to need a lot of people, right?
I guess a sex therapist, that would be the industry that would
Yeah.
probably utilize it the most, right?
So there's a chance Drew Carey's going to testify. I'm hoping.
That's interesting.
And there's
Yes.
someone else too.
So this sex therapist Domina, who is killed, is Drew Carey's ex-girlfriend.
Fiance.
Did
Yes. She also was
Oh.
a Playboy model, but I'm not sure of the month and year, so I have to do some.
No nudity that I saw.
Branca,
Sarah will do some
do you
digging.
recognize the
Sarah.
name? Branca, do you recognize the name? Can you pick out the year?
No, my whores were not pros.
Never go with a pro.
Yeah.
You know, I actually have the Playboy from the month of my birth. It was gifted to me.
Oh,
Well, that's nice. I think.
Kind of neat.
For some reason, that doesn't actually surprise me, to be honest.
It shouldn't.
That was what I know of you. That is not.
Some people give you like the newspaper from the day of your birth,
Yeah.
but I can, what, Valhalla, I could see it.
It was a welcome home gift when I got out of the army.
As one does.
Yeah.
oh, I kind of have to Google this.
I'm pretty sure
It's
it was both.
AMIE and then Harwick, like it's spelled or like it sounds.
Hard.
No, I mean, who was the centerfold on my birth?
Oh, well, I don't
Um,
know.
I'm having a
Yeah,
brain
that
fart right
that
now.
might be a black and white picture. I mean,
I don't know who
I-
was the first centerfold, Nicholas.
the first centerfold was Marilyn Monroe.
Well, it was an old joke. It was a year old. My bad. It failed. My bad, y'all.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised they are centerfolds. Like, aren't they using Polaroids to shoot your Playboy centerfold? I'm not talking mid-century either. I'm talking from the day that they invented it, like 1200s.
They carved it into rocks.
It was one of those old
Stick figures.
sepia colored things.
Oh,
David right now is covering that Whitmer trial, and
Again, who is gonna kidnap a Skeksis? Tell me, who is gonna kidnap that woman? No one. No one is gonna be in that woman's company
For more than 30
voluntarily.
been
Not even
watching
her
it?
husband.
I've
I have-
tried.
it's pretty rough. It's a railroading of the people.
No,
From my
Are
humble
we
opinion.
shocked?
no,
No.
they'd never do that.
Our justice system.
No, they're perfect. Nothing goes wrong.
Well, it's not a fairness system. It's a bureaucratic machine. It's like a steam
Fair.
engine. You just get fed into it,
Yeah.
and your guts and bones get spit out the other side.
It's the weirdest trial I've ever watched. Like, it's not the whole. So we've
all
only
I can
been
say.
we're only up to day 4, right? But so far there's been one witness who's an FBI agent who has no firsthand knowledge of anything. He was like the lead detective, right? The handler, and all he's doing is presenting facts or hearsay about 2 people that aren't even involved in the trial. It's so wild, y'all.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how it goes.
Yeah. It's really.
I need to catch up on it.
yeah,
It's insane.
All our
It's
time
absolutely
spent,
insane.
all our time spent on a sex therapist right now. So
Yeah,
priorities.
I still have to look up the unaccredited school
Oh, God,
of
yes.
sexology from
San Francisco.
San Francisco.
Started in
I wasn't ever
Amsterdam.
going to go to San Francisco, but now the
Oh,
the
I've got a master's degree from there.
isn't it loosely affiliated with Scientology, Sal?
I think
Isn't
so.
that- oh, for
That's
the love
funny.
of Cheetos. This is going to be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, they measure your theta, whatever it's called.
Oh, no.
oh.
Yeah, Brandon, that was insane.
Oh, did my chat break? I think my chat broke.
Yeah, the Trump judge is saying, well, you should have known this was coming and started preparing 13 months ago. And here's 13 million documents of discovery now.
Oh, yeah.
Seems
And we'll
fair.
be going to trial in March.
Yeah, and I've been covering the Young Thug RICO trial, so I have an inkling of the Georgia RICO Act, and that is so broad and so vague. And just don't underestimate this DA Fanny, because
Well, I don't know how
she
can-
knows that that act inside out. So
Yeah.
yeah,
But how can she be ready for trial?
Okay. I
don't
don't
know.
understand how she can charge lawyers for acting as lawyers. I still don't get how you can I mean, I am pre-law, don't get me wrong. I'm still on book 1 of the Darrell Brooks Learn to Law,
Yeah.
home study course. So I'm only on, tacit agreements right now. But
Grounds.
how can you get
yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
how can you charge a lawyer for lawyering? I mean,
unless they're a Murdaugh, but
Seems very un-American.
I'm so
Andrew.
sorry, but How do you expect to escape a murder trial called murder? Like his name is a dead giveaway. I'm sorry. I couldn't resist.
Andrew, what do you think about the lawyers involved with Trump and being charged?
I mean, so I haven't followed the Trump thing closely. I guess I have to now that it's going to be streamed. But up to this time, I haven't been following it closely because it's so clearly just a political prosecution.
Yeah.
There's nothing really on the legal merits to talk about. It's a politicized witch hunt. They're going to witch hunt him. If they want to, they'll get a conviction. It's no different than a trial under Stalin. That's what we're experiencing. More generally, how can you charge a lawyer? Well, lawyers aren't allowed to do just anything. If a lawyer, and I'm not saying this is what she did, but this would be the legal argument. For example, all these RICO laws, of course, were intended to go after the mafia.
Yeah.
So they're not trying to give the mafia an even break, right? They're trying to bias the system against the mafia, which works fine if they're only ever used against the mafia and you hate the mafia. Who gives a shit? The trouble is when these same laws start being applied to normal people or to politicians by other politicians, and then they're subject to this kind of abuse. But if you have a mafia lawyer, and the mafia lawyer is not merely providing legal counsel, but is a participant in the planning and commission of the crimes, they're not acting as a lawyer anymore. Then they're part of the conspiracy. And of course, they could be prosecuted. So from a prosecutor's perspective, I'm sure that's what they're alleging with respect to Jenna Ellis or any other lawyers that they're charging. They're saying they weren't acting as lawyers. They were acting as co-conspirators.
Okay.
Yeah, and after covering the Young Thug RICO trial for a number of months now, I understand a bit why, because the Georgia RICO trial is so broad and so vague.
They all are. It's deliberate. It's intentional.
Yeah, and looking at what the Georgia lawyers are saying about the Georgia RICO Act compared to the federal, because even if this trial is going to a federal level, they are still applying the Georgia RICO Act. And who is the best interpreter of that Georgia RICO Act? Well, it's DA Fannie. She knows that inside out. And she's been using it in the Young Thug trial or Young Thug case to pitch people against each other. That's, in my opinion, that's the entirety of the vagueness and the broadness, is to pitch people against each other. And that is what she is relying on in the Trump case. Somebody will snitch.
By the way, you know who did this very effectively against the actual mafia?
Giuliani.
Rudy Giuliani. Yeah, I know.
He did exactly the same thing.
Yeah,
but that's, of course, what the RICO law was intended to target, was the actual mafia.
Yeah.
Was it not?
The trouble is, it's like the old adage, right? Never give a politician any power you would not want used against you, because just because he's using it against your enemies in the moment doesn't mean you're not next, and you may not like it as much when it's you.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the RICO, Federal RICO Act was, I believe, it was across throughout the board,
across state lines.
Across but Democrats and Republicans alike was for the original RICO Act, the Federal RICO Act. But all of a sudden, I think that the Georgia RICO Act was implemented in 1996, and the politicians deliberately made it broader and more vague to include gang violence. But in that,
the new mafia, right?
Yeah.
We killed the old mafia. Now the new mafia is gang violence.
And in that Georgia RICO Act, as long as you can motivate, not prove, motivate a criminal conspiracy, as in a criminal enterprise, you can charge them under the RICO Act. So it doesn't matter who is included in it, as long as you can motivate, not charge, motivate. And that is a much lower standard that the politicians in Georgia have voted for. It's not a legal standard. It's more or less a opinion standard. This is a criminal conspiracy through a criminal enterprise. and that is so vague. That is
I mean,
so
under
extremely
that
vague.
standard, you'd have to indict every
Every
vagina in
politician.
Georgia, because what motivates men?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And that is, no matter if it goes up to a federal level or not, that is still applied until somebody gets it to SCOTUS, who can
Yeah.
say,
No.
no, this is not according to the Constitution and these rules and everything. So I believe even if it goes up to a federal
You have a lot more
level,
faith in SCOTUS than I have.
yeah,
Can we
Well-
start charging people when they say that they're going to save our democracy? Because I'm about done with that. Because we're a representative republic, and I'm about
my
tired of
God.
people.
I've had people argue with me about that as well.
Because
Yeah, they're engaged in insurrection.
Yeah.
When they say we have a democracy. Right?
yeah, charge them. The RICO Act.
Yeah, trying to get Trump off the ballot is not very democratic.
We don't have a
um,
democracy. We have a constitutional republic.
I swear,
Yeah.
I'm going to get that as a T-shirt in my merch store. Ask me about our constitutional republic.
God bless it.
By the way, I see
Yeah.
someone in the comments asking, but what part of the Constitution would it violate? It's important to keep in mind that there's a lot of American law that's not in the Constitution. The Constitution's
exactly.
only a constraint when you're asking, does this violate the Constitution? And then you have to look to the boundaries of the Constitution. But there's an enormous body of law that we adopted from our old English common law that is American law that is not in the Constitution. So just because it's not in the Constitution does not mean it's not American law.
Well, and to add to that, the Constitution, for the most part, has nothing to do with U.S. citizens. It has everything to do with constraining the government,
Yeah.
right? So a RICO Act on the mafia has very little to do with the Constitution, but now it's in reverse because they're doing it on MAGA for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So
We have all kinds of fundamental due process rights that are just part of American common law that existed before the Constitution, that exist after the Constitution. That it's just part of the American body of law.
Yeah, and looking at the Young Thug RICO trial, they have been using it to not only, I mean, the last stream I had about Young Thug, they were discussing about the, it's called the blah 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 of limitation, because
Gotcha.
they charge Mr. Young Thug or Jeffrey Williams.
Mr. Young
He-
Thug.
Yeah, Mr. Young
Mr.
Thug.
Thug.
Mr. Thug, for
The
things
younger.
that occurred
His father's Mr. Thug.
The
7 or
elder.
8 years prior to the charge. But the charges was the statute of limitation has gone out. But according to Georgia RICO Act, as long as just one, is within the statute of limitations, they can charge back and bring in stuff that has reached the statute of limitations, just to prove that it is, just because of the opinion it is a criminal enterprise. And that's the vagueness and broadness of the RICO trial that will come back and hurt more or less everybody everywhere.
That's so
Because
shady.
they can ignore statute of limitations as long as they more or less if we feel like it. And that's just the statute of limitations should be in all Western countries. That's a foundation.
Yeah.
If it reaches 1 minute past the statute of limitations, it's off limit.
So, Nicholas, talk about why statute of limitations exist. What's the public policy in support of statute of limitations? Because I think the lay people don't know this. They hear it and it sounds like a completely arbitrary government rule
Yes,
that there's
that would
no
be
harm
a
in
really good
discarding
idea.
it. But there are important reasons why we have a statute of limitations.
Okay.
Well, for one, there's like a lot of these cases. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead. My bad.
No, you didn't cut me off. No.
Well, for one, there's nobody left alive, right? So you're dealing with sometimes 30-year-old facts with like nobody there other than the government agency. And if a government agency is out to get somebody, they can make up whatever facts they want.
Yeah.
I mean, I predominantly cover domestic abuse trials and you know, all of that, and rape cases, etc. If there's such of limitations, from what I know, because I'm a layperson, I'm not even pre-law. I'm not even like, you know, I'm not like, the highest I've got is I've got a tort law book. That's it. But from what I do understand,
book.
Yeah, but from what I do understand is without the statute of limitations, you're going back to cases like, let's say 10 to 30 years, where both parties may not even remember the details of what's going on, and they can literally just bring this and then get a default judgment, just, you know, just based on there not being a time limit. Like so if it's not cut off, there is a lot of issues. Like, for example, if they had DNA, like, for example, like if they had a DNA sample, like, I know that there could be laws. I don't know. Someone correct me, but there could be laws on how long they can store it for, and they have to get rid of it. So
we had statute of limitations long before we had DNA.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
and
the point you're making is a correct point. The point is, evidence is perishable. And the evidence could be DNA evidence. It could be other physical evidence. It could be people's memory or recollection. It could be witnesses die, documents. None of us keeps documents for 80 years, right? Documents get disposed of. And so the evidence is perishable.
Unless you're Joe Biden.
It becomes less reliable. But there's another public policy reason too, and that is that just because a potential accusation can be brought against you doesn't mean you're guilty of anything, but it's still hanging over your head, and that freezes you, right? If you're facing a potential rape charge, for example, are you going to get married? Are you going to go to college? Are you going to start a business when you may be looking at 20 years in prison? You're not going to do any of those things, right? Who would marry you if you're facing a rape charge? So as a matter of public policy, we say, listen, there's a window of time. If you're going to bring the charge, you got to bring it. Otherwise, that person is entitled to have their life back and move forward without that hanging over their head. So there are vital public policy reasons why statute of limitations exist. They're not arbitrary. They're not nonsensical. We came up with this for a reason. And the only crime for which we normally don't allow a statute of limitations is the crime of murder, because of the value we place on human life. And all this RICO bullshit is exactly that. It's RICO bullshit to get around the public policy reasons why we have statute of limitations in the first place.
Yeah. And normally, in what I believe is the unfair legal action. For instance, if you have a robbery, if that is 10 years later, we have found evidence that you might have committed that robbery. Well, in 10 years, the memories have faded, the evidence. So that's why you have a statute of limitations on robbery for 5 to 7 years, for example.
And plus, if you can't find evidence within 5 to 7 years, how reliable is this brand new evidence that you're bringing forward? Like, how reliable really is it? Like,
and that is the unfairness, because we still have the presumption of innocence.
Yeah.
And if somebody in 7 years says you committed that robbery, it's not good enough.
I have a great example, actually.
Okay.
Let's say if there was no statute of limitations, every dude that's 60 plus, maybe older now, but every old man that married a 14-year-old girl, 15-year-old girl back in the day, because it was really common back in the day. Now today, if they were all brought up in charges for statutory graping them, that would be a hectic situation with all of our grandparents in the Huskow, so to speak.
Well,
I know of a certain individual.
Right. That public opinion changes over time, right? So back in the day, that was a normal thing for people right? But if there's no statute of limitations, then today's Gen X, whatever they are now, Gen Z, millennials, I don't know what the hell they are anymore. The new ones, they'd be raking these people over the coals.
It's intended as a check on the power of the government, because the government has infinite power when it comes to criminal prosecutions.
Yeah.
And then they can come 20 years later and say, hey, you embezzled, or you robbed, or you stole, or you raped. The truth is, a jury, we like to think that juries will understand the concept of proof beyond a reasonable doubt. But you have to be a pretty damn good criminal defense attorney to really drive that home to a jury. Most criminal defense attorneys don't do this effectively, and I will never be convinced otherwise, that juries are finding people guilty based on a preponderance of the evidence standard. They feel it's more likely than not that the guy committed the crime, and they find him guilty, and that guy goes to prison for 10, 20, maybe the rest of his life. And if that's the practical standard that's actually being applied, and you're charged by the government with some horrible crime from 20 years ago, how are you ever going to present counter evidence to what the government's claiming?
Yeah.
And
You can't. All you can do is sit
100%.
there and say, but that never happened. I never did it. But you don't have any
100%.
actual evidence.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way you can prove a negative. And so many prosecutors use emotion here lately, and emotion seems to be winning. I mean, they had nothing substantial on this Thomas Randolph guy. Nothing. They had nothing to show that he had a conspiracy with this Michael guy to kill his wife. And yet he got convicted of everything again. And it
Because
was all,
the prosecutor thought of a previous charge that he was acquitted of. So,
And you know why they're arguing emotion?
because
The
it works.
prosecutors? Because it works.
Women.
Because we're becoming a more, no offense to the women out there, but we're becoming a more feminine nature. Women
Yes.
and
It's
men
okay.
are more feminine, and they're more emotionally driven. They're less rationally driven.
Yeah.
Men too.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
And so when
And
when
Yeah,
you
yeah.
have a more a population, a jury that's amenable to emotional argument, you don't need the law and you don't need the
Well,
facts. All you need
what I-
is the estrogenic hysteria.
what I will say is that had I not been following trials, what I've seen prosecutors do is take a lot of facts that are extraneous and like chafing, like, or when the old World War would take, a bunch of just foil and put it out there and try to, confuse the radar. So they put a lot of extraneous facts, and then juries don't know that all of these facts are just extraneous. They don't add anything. But juries think, okay, these people have all these facts. This must mean something.
Yeah.
They must have all these facts. This means something. Well, had I not been following this, I would have thought prosecutors have all these facts. This means he's guilty. When you start following trials and start thinking logically and start changing how you think and actually learn what evidence means and have people explain, people like you and Nicholas explain what you're actually looking for, what these legal terms mean, what the jury instructions actually mean, you realize these prosecutors have bupkis.
Nothing often. And by the way, I see them prosecute people for crimes as serious as murder. That defendant will spend the rest of his life in a cage with horrible people. And the rest of his life will probably be about 2 weeks in general population.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of guys like George Zimmerman, guys like Kyle
Rittenhouse.
Rittenhouse.
Yeah.
These prosecutors are trying to put those people in a cage for the rest of their lives based on utter bullshit. They have no evidence inconsistent with self-defense. I mostly do self-defense cases. And they don't give a shit. And they go for
all
the
about
emotion
winning.
because the emotion works. What I hear you saying is, what I'm hearing you say is, you've effectively been legally red-pilled. The delusion has been stripped from your eyes.
Yes.
You're seeing how the machine actually works, not the pretty little curtain that's in front of the machine. And it is grotesque when it's abused.
It's horrifying. It is horrifying to think, because I just watched an entire trial where the prosecutor had nothing. This man was an absolute douche. He's a douche canoe. I would never want to be married to him. He got a perm. He's already guilty of being terrible at fashion. Okay.
He's got pigtails.
He
in
had a
his
body
trial.
wave in 2020. All right. We have already found him guilty.
Yeah.
But the man,
Go ahead. My bad.
but the man probably walked into someone robbing his house, shot his wife in the head. He shot him. And, had walked through with the police, had braggadocio, kind of
High on
exaggerated
pain
what he
pills.
did, was high on pain pills while he was doing it. And they used that to convict him and said that he worked with the man to try to kill his wife. And now he's going to spend the rest of his life in jail.
Yeah. So the way the reason we have courts, a core function of a legal system like a court, is to separate the emotion from the reason. So we're supposed to strip the emotion out. We're supposed to have a judge act as a gatekeeper and say, nope, that evidence, I understand it's emotional, but it's prejudicial. It's not relevant to the issues. We're not going to let the jury hear it because it'll drive the jury's emotions and they'll come to an emotionally driven verdict rather than a rational verdict. But when you allow emotion to bleed into that courtroom, which is supposed to be a very sacred, isolated little environment, it's not like the real world. In the real world, we're all normal people. We all respond to everything with emotions because human beings are emotional creatures. In the courtroom, that's supposed to be like a surgical, like an OR, like a surgery room that's clean, that's sterile from the emotion. So we're applying reason to evidence to get to a rational verdict. And if that means guilty, the person goes to prison. And if not, proven beyond a reasonable doubt, they're acquitted. But when you let the emotion bleed in, you're getting a very corrupt version of due process of law.
Yeah. And for instance, the last couple of weeks, I've been covering a trial that it was originally 5 weeks long, a jury trial. Then 2 days before the trial started, the defendant opted for a bench trial. All of a sudden, it became a 20-day bench trial, which means that the prosecution had to cut out a week of evidence. Because
that was the emotional evidence.
Right. And when the trial concluded, it was a 14 day trial. 14 days, 14 trial days. That tells me that almost everything they did was to appease a jury.
Yeah.
Now,
Well,
do I believe? Yeah. Just to make, I think the guy is guilty. I see circumstantial evidence in the trial that tells me there's no other way but this guy doing it. But the prosecution has been opted against a jury trial for so long, they couldn't change gears. So they still put in a lot of evidence that shouldn't be there. And with a bench trial, I'm afraid that the judge will see the evidence put in, because normally a judge will evaluate the actual evidence without emotions.
Yeah.
In theory, they're a technical legal professional, right? They're supposed to operate like a computer.
Yeah. But
keyword supposed to.
Yeah, but what I'm afraid of is that the prosecution has muddled the water enough for the judge to not reach a logical conclusion.
Well,
because they were prepared for a jury trial.
She was prepared for 1984 in Dynasty. That's her problem.
You guys are forgetting that judgeships have become political.
Oh yeah,
and they're not intended to be political. They were never designed that way. But politics has gotten into judges across the country, and that's, I think, probably a big reason why this is happening now.
Well, I would disagree a little bit. I think judgeships have always been political. They've always either been elected or appointed, and both those paths are political paths. But in the old days, when I first started practicing law, you would get judges. Judges were picked for political reasons even then, but you were picking from a pool of rational judges. So, of course, there were 50 rational people you could appoint as judge. One got picked. He got picked because he was politically favored. But the political favor was not ideological. It was not, this person will punish my enemies regardless of what the law is, which is the world we live in today.
Yeah, the banners.
And that's. I mean, you can't avoid politics in human affairs, right? I mean, you were humans. Everything is fundamentally political in one sense.
That's fair.
But you expect even those judges who are politically appointed, you expect them to constrain themselves within the laws that as are passed. And when they choose to abuse those, and any of us who've watched these high profile stream cases, we've seen judges admit evidence that should never have been admitted, ever have been admitted, because it's so prejudicial and so irrelevant to the facts of the case. And they do it over and over and over again. Like that guy in North Carolina, right, who was accused of killing his wife and son.
Murdoch.
Murdoch, right? Yeah. Oh my God. That judge let we had more time of that trial was spent on prejudicial evidence than was spent on the actual marriage trial case. Yeah. Absolutely contemptible. And by the way, those decisions by that trial judge are almost unappealable because the appellate courts give almost complete discretion to trial courts on these evidentiary issues. So he's just effed. I mean, there's nothing you can do about that.
Yeah.
And so the quality of judges you put in place are decisive. And unfortunately, we're increasingly becoming a low competency society where you don't have to be competent. You just have to have whatever the right political colors of the day are. And you get put into these positions. And then you exercise your unbelievable authority as prosecutor, as judge, consistent with the political colors that put you into that office. And the result is something that looks nothing like what any of us would call genuine justice.
Yeah.
Could anybody imagine 30 years ago a potential judge for the Supreme Court not being able to answer the question, what is a woman?
And get appointed.
Oh my God. I can't imagine that happening.
I'm not a biologist.
Hey, even Mo and I answered that question.
30 years ago, did you ever imagine that a judge would tell a female sorority, that they could not, tell them that a 6'4" man, couldn't stop perving on them in their sorority house because by their own bylaws, they disregarded it since they allowed him in there?
I just saw that today.
Let me tell you that if my daughter went there, there'd be a father. Like, where are these girls' fathers? I'm not saying.
Ghazni did have a point today, though.
Their mothers divorced them.
Ghazni did have a point
in
today,
Minecraft, my husband would be up there. I'm just saying.
I want to say I actually agree with everything that Andrew said in regards to judge advocacy, because there is there was a judge in the UK that's called Judge Denning, and he was staunch liberal, and he always, whenever a case was brought by the police or whatever, like CPS, etc., always sided with the defendant, always sided with the citizen, and was always writing his final brief with language that is very favorable to the citizen. So
I'm more in favor of that than the other way around.
Yes, and that's why I brought it up, because this is the double-edged sword of politics. Like, at what point does it actually go back to the middle? Because
it shouldn't happen either way. If it has to deviate one way or the other, I want it to be in favor of the defendant and against the state, because the state has so much power. So my preference would be that it was evenly balanced. The judge is supposed to be the referee. He's not supposed to be pushing the needle one side or one way or the other. So that's exactly why I brought him up, because I learned about him from going Judge Nicol, that rule with the Deputy Heard trial. That's how I learned about him. He's the opposite. He actually is a massive bureaucrat. Like, he's pro system. Like, he literally allowed billionaires to not disclose. Right. So that's the equivalent of being in a sporting event, right? Playing what you guys call football, what we would call soccer, or the game for
it's football. It will always be football. There's only one term: football.
And you show up at the field.
Football,
and all referees were hired by the opposing team.
Yeah.
Right? How is that going to go for you? Not well.
Not
right?
so well.
But when we have judges who side with the state, that's exactly what a defendant is dealing with. The person who's supposed to protect the playing field to be equal to both sides is on the other team's side. You are effed. You're done.
We get that with Manchester United and Arsenal. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh, look at all those cats.
Oh,
Jesus.
Cats.
Oh yeah, goats.
Mini horses.
Goats.
Hey, that's Lionel Messi right there. That's Lionel Messi.
He's a cat daddy.
They're
no-
goats,
no one
Blanco.
gets that
They're
reference.
goats.
No
Oh.
one gets that reference.
Oh.
I feel embarrassed.
Fuck. Oh,
Oh,
Jesus.
goodness.
David, you asshole.
That a boy, David.
Where
Let's
does
see,
MLS
and-
get all this money? Every time I see MLS on the stream, he's always donating big bucks. Like, where is it coming from?
I know.
Where is it coming from?
Suddenly, MLS is like a webcam is going to go on. He's going to be sitting in front of a giant pile of cocaine.
Like, I know you're called MLS, but like you don't have to go this far. You don't have to go this far.
Well, since he passed 3,000 subscribers, all of a sudden he has a lot of money. I can't wait to get past 3,000 subscribers so I can splash out.
I know. It must be
Well-
nice. Wow.
I'm just 200
if
away
that's
from
the
being
goal,
monetized.
sky's the limit.
Jesus Christ. But for you who are in the chat, I urge you to donate to the Zachariah Anderson Fund
Absolutely.
Yes.
because
Yes.
yeah, I can ruin my liver any day of the week, but Zachariah Anderson actually needs the money. Cheers.
I actually didn't know about the case until well, I mean I knew about it, but I didn't know it was that bad until I
Yeah.
did our stream. And yeah, speaking to damn it, why are you so bad with names? Oh, something Anderson.
Solomon?
That's the one. Thank you.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Who'd you say?
Is that Solomon?
No.
Maxwell.
The way he broke
Solomon.
it down, like the way he broke it down, I was like, oh Jesus Christ. Like yeah.
That case was horrible. That trial was a joke.
I literally
Jenny
walked out.
motions? Oh my
I
God.
think it was day 3 or 4. I don't know. Whenever the stalking thing was on, that's when I
Yeah.
walked out. I was like, I knew he stalked somebody.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah. And there's a kid called who calls himself Long Kong or something, who recently put out a video showing the photo from the crime scene, showing that because they claim Mr. Junior was killed on the 17th. On the 18th, it was a Monday. When you see his door covered in these so-called blood droplets, beside it, this is an apartment complex with 16 apartments. Beside his door is the mailboxes. This means that on May 18th, the Monday, postal guy got there, put the mail in, everybody got their mail, and nobody, not one, saw the blood on the door. And it is inches away. It is so...
Nah, things like that, you just gotta apply common sense. Like you can't miss that.
Right.
There are some evidence that you can be like, okay, like let's say for example, that same blood was in the toilet. That's obscured from public, walking past. That makes sense. If you miss that, that makes sense. You're not gonna go in the toilet looking for something. But if it's on the wall, if it's on a doorpost, it's equivalent to what what every Jew does on Passover. Like, how do you miss that?
They were having Seder dinner.
You know
It
what
was
I mean?
It was a lamb. It was just like, right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, God, oh Lord, if
So, Nicholas, I didn't watch the Anderson trial, but I know you did, right? Am I correct about that? So, how do you feel his legal defense did? Did they appear to be doing a reasonable job, or because I hate to break it to people, but lawyers are on a bell curve, right? Like every other profession, and most of them are average, and some of them really suck, but very few of them are really top shelf. And especially during a trial, it's a high intensity environment. Maybe they don't have all the resources they would like to have. Lawyers miss stuff. They make mistakes.
Yeah.
In
my honest opinion, it was a mid-tier lawyers,
which would be normal, right?
Agreed.
Average is normal. right?
Yeah.
But the trouble is, do you want an average legal defense when the consequence of losing is the rest of your life in a cage?
Hell no.
Yeah, and apparently they now a few months later they missed a lot of things that they could have brought in his in Sakurai's defense. But
Also,
the prosecution's case in its totality is so bad.
Well, it worked though.
Yeah, it did.
So
it did.
I mean, listen,
He
the
lied.
prosecution's always trying to convict you, right? That's their mission in the courtroom. That's
He lied
they're
a
always
lot.
trying to get a conviction.
He
So
lied a whole lot.
your defense, well,
That's their job.
your
I mean, that
defense
is
has to
their
call
job.
that out.
I mean,
I mean, they have to be able to expose that.
Yeah.
to be
Or-
quite like I really hate to admit this bit, but it's one of those ones. Sometimes you could be a great lawyer in a case that you know you could win, but your firm is the one making the shots. And sometimes, I mean,
Do we have a
I-
reason to? No,
There was a lot
I
going on.
refuse to believe that.
Really?
There was a lot going on in
Well,
that trial, right? Like
Listen,
Schroeder.
I would never do that. I mean, if I haven't worked for a firm in a long time, but if I work for myself, but if I was working for a firm and they told me to do something I thought was inconsistent with the best legal interests of my client, I tell them to go fuck themselves.
No,
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
no,
yeah,
no.
go
That's
screw yourself.
That's not what I mean. I mean your subs, like your paralegals, the people
From
that
the
are, that are
From the
feeding you.
defendant's perspective.
You just
Yeah,
fire them.
like,
lawyers
like
should
they
do
can
what they
literally
do.
make you look bad. Like if they're not feeding you, if they're not.
Well,
feeding you
listen,
to
in
trade-
fairness, the lawyer is responsible for his subordinates. If he has
True.
low quality subordinates, that's on him. He's the captain of the ship.
All right,
True.
all right, you shut me up.
But
Well, I mean,
No, if
you
I
have to
had bad
hire
subordinates
good
and they weren't doing the research correctly, that's ultimately on me. That's on me. And that's not just my opinion, although it is my opinion. That's how legal ethics work in the U.S. The lead counsel is responsible for everything.
All right. Well,
and if
no,
if
I
I
need to know
have
that.
to
I need to
bring
know
forward
that.
one thing about the Sakurai Anderson defense, they didn't have what I would call, for instance, I have this as a
6
demonstrative.
kg pound bro?
This is a 12 to 13 pound kettlebell.
How is that going to get Zachariah out of jail?
Yeah. Let me tell you why.
you throw it really hard.
This is a fully stacked, more or less shopping bag, 12, 13 pounds. According to the prosecution, Mr. Anderson, not one of these, not two of these, 21 of these was rolled up in a blood-soaked carpet, which he carried through two doors, the front door of the apartment and the door of the apartment complex, without leaving a shred of DNA or evidence, or even blood splatter, or even blood trace. Then he managed to open the back door to his family van, place Mr. Guterres, who was a 6'2", 270-pound man, on a 3x4 foot area. And the only thing left behind was a pin-sized speck of what the prosecution claimed was blood. It was never tested for blood. Now imagine this: a 270-pound, 6'2" guy, rolled up in a carpet, blood-soaked, in a family van, and then driven around for over an hour, and all that is left is a pin-sized speck of DNA. Now, if you watched my stream with Gosney, where we checked what is...
Oh, that guy.
Yeah. How is DNA supposed to be presented? It's supposed to be presented, this is how we collected it, this is how we tested it, this is our conclusion, and this is the result. None of these was presented in court. None of it. Because the sample was too tiny, so they destroyed the sample in this testing, and they recorded none of it. Nothing. And once the DNA expert testified, it was her opinion. It was Junior's DNA. Not 2.3 in a quadrillion, not one in a billion, not in 1 in 500,000 billion. It was her opinion. It was Junior's DNA. That was the entirety of the physical evidence against Zachariah Anderson committing this. Because in the apartment there was, again, 270 pound, 6'2" in a carpet, and there was none physical evidence of Mr. Anderson in that apartment. There was no there was no phone data. They didn't see his car on any of the roads, front and back. That's the only physical evidence. And the only thing the DNA expert could say was, it was her opinion that the DNA belonged to Mr. Guterres.
There was more in that trial too. Like Judge Schrader, whatever you want to call him, he was not up to the task of being the judge at that trial.
Yeah, that's Schroeder was the Rittenhouse judge, by the way.
Commission.
Yeah.
Yes, the same judge at Rittenhouse. By the time this trial came around, he was not the same man. And
there was definite cognitive decline.
There was multiple times when he lost his temper and started admonishing the defense attorney for things she never said. It happened multiple times.
He had a huge head injury.
Yes.
And
his wife was dying as the trial was taking place.
And they did not think he was going to go back being a judge.
Yeah.
And they sent him down to family court.
Those things are outside of the actual trial.
Of course.
But they still matter in the broad scheme of Zachariah Anderson, though, right?
Yeah, it does.
It's an unfortunate situation.
So those are all factors. All these things we're talking about, they're all real. They're all true.
Yeah.
They're all factors that would matter to an appellate court that wanted to reverse the conviction.
Yeah.
If they were looking for reasons to reverse the conviction, they would pick all those things up and put them in a nice little box and tie it with a bow, and they would reverse the conviction. But unless you have an appellate court that wants to do that, this shit doesn't mean anything. Yeah. Appeals, I say it all the time, appeals are for losers. Okay. And I mean that in two senses. If you're appealing, it's because you lost a trial, you got convicted, right? If you were acquitted, there's no appeal. But also, once you're convicted, all the legal presumptions that were in your favor, when you're at trial, you're legally presumed to be innocent until you're proven guilty, right? But once you're convicted, you are legally presumed to be guilty. That appellate court, every reasonable inference they can make, they're obliged to make against your innocence because the jury already found you guilty.
Yeah.
So a lot of people feel like I almost get the sense that they feel like an appeal is like a redo of the trial. It's like a second bite of the apple.
Yeah. No,
it's nothing like that.
No. The only thing an appellate court is going on is, did the trial judge make a mistake? And not only did he make a mistake, was that mistake big enough to
overturn the
right? So there's actually three things. Was there a mistake? Was it preserved for appeal, usually by an objection? And did the mistake matter? And these are all, would it have changed the verdict if the mistake hadn't been made? And these are all very subjective calls that an appellate court gets to make.
Yeah.
See, based on everything you guys just said, it literally, for you to even win an appeal, it sounds like you need to have CCTV of the other guy, someone else actually committing the crime, and then you need to have proof that a judge saw the CCTV and said, nope, I'm gonna disregard it.
Yeah.
On
Right,
top
so-
of that,
so-
on top of that,
Yeah.
you need to have proof that you didn't sit on this to present to the judge.
So Nicholas mentioned Steve Gosney earlier. Steve Gosney is a good friend of mine. He's a public defender down in Florida. He's done research on this, and in America, at least, fewer than 1% of appeals result in any relief for a defendant who's appealing, and that relief is most often not a new trial, but some reduction in sentence. So they're still in prison. It's just for fewer years. That's less than 1%. So when I say appeals are for losers, that's the data I'm looking at.
Yeah.
That's disgusting, though.
Yeah, and I agree. It is disgusting in that way. And when it comes to the Zachariah Anderson case, how the appellate court will handle this, I know they have the Zachariah Anderson defense. They have got. We are close to $30,000. Here's the thing:
We're over
to appeal that kind of sentence, we are talking about at least $150,000.
They have to spend thousands just to get the transcripts of the trial to appeal.
Yeah.
And that includes Schroeder's ums, stories about the founding fathers.
How long was the trial?
I think it was about 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah, so it wouldn't surprise me if the transcripts were 10 grand all by themselves.
Yeah.
And then you need good, really, I mean, obviously, we talked about lawyers being on a bell curve. Appellate counsel is on a bell curve too. You don't want an average. The average appellate counsel, he's the guy who's getting the drug dealers and the obvious easy convictions, but somehow they still have some money they can pay for an appeal. So you take their money. It's real. It's a real horror part of the profession, in my opinion, because they know they're not going to get any meaningful relief for their client. They're just taking the money to go through the motions through the appeal. But there are appellate lawyers who are top 5%, and those are the guys who make a difference.
Yeah.
And those guys are expensive.
Those are, and then you have the jury investigators, cost a lot of money. But luckily for Mr. Anderson is that Mr. Barnes, Viva Fari and Barnes, Mr. Barnes has agreed to not to take on the case, but to at least look into it on his spare time. What can I do?
Well,
and Barnes is a good lawyer. He's an extremely good lawyer.
He's a very smart and clever guy. But I also know, and I like Robert. I've been on shows with Robert, and I was on Fox News with Robert. He's a great guy. I like him a lot. Big personality.
Yeah.
But the truth is, lawyers do their best work when they're getting paid, not when they're doing stuff in their spare time.
Yeah,
and that's not a criticism of Robert. That's just a recognition of how lawyers make a living.
But I think that is what Mr. Barnes
but
said. Once he took on the case, he said that I can put in spare time, but you need to get the best appellate lawyer,
right?
Because he can only do so much,
right?
You
need a captain of the ship who's actually driving everything forward, and that guy is going to cost $200,000 or $300,000.
Yeah.
We're looking at 150 minimum.
How gross is it that it comes down to just pure financial ability?
I understand. I understand. We'd all like to think we live in a world where the amount of money you have doesn't affect the justice you get, right? That would seem like a fair world. But man, the criminal justice system is a battlefield. It's a war. You don't get, if you're the smaller, weaker army, you lose. That's just the way it works. That's just reality.
Is it
you don't get upgraded because you're on the right side of history or you're morally correct, or no one gives a shit. Genghis Khan killed shitloads of people who were morally better than him, but they're still dead.
Yeah.
And he banged their wives.
Really? Yeah. Now, is it common for? Oh, go ahead.
No. I was gonna say, feel free to correct me, but I've always came to the understanding of studying history, etc. I've always come to the understanding that when it comes to the court system, it was primarily made so that they can challenge kings and queens. and they were always had their deep pockets. So that's why we have the other end where we need a lot of money to challenge whatever it is. I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but
Well,
I
of
guess
course
I don't
you bankrupt
understand
yourself
the point.
going
I mean,
against
I
the
agree
king
with
or
you.
queen.
The government has all the power.
Yeah,
They have infinite resources.
absolutely.
No criminal defendant has anything like. Even Donald Trump doesn't have infinite resources. The government is
Because it
infinite
charges
resources,
lawyers
so
with a
it's
crime.
inherently an imbalance in the battlefield.
Yeah. Yeah. For instance, I know that Jeff puts it up all the time. The O.J. Simpson trial.
Yeah.
The what?
Right.
Yeah,
He
the
hired pretty damn
prosecu-
good lawyers.
Yeah. 5
Yeah.
million.
The prosecution put in $9 million.
Jesus.
OJ put in $6 million into his defense.
And only 1
It's-
million of that was her perm.
Yeah. Yeah. And so he put in 2/3 of what the prosecution put in. And it still didn't level the playing field.
I don't think it's a fair comparison though, because the government money was all wasted. It's all
Yeah.
graft, right? So 2/3 of it was taken in graft. But the truth is, it was the quality of the so I'm actually old enough that I watched that trial.
I've seen parts of it.
And it's just
I
that
was
the
in middle
prosecutors were just
school.
outclassed. The prosecutors were used
Oh,
to
yeah.
prosecuting easy murders, easy drug possession cases.
Yeah.
They had never encountered defense attorneys of the theater that O.J. Simpson brought to bear. And the O.J. Simpson defense was largely a theater defense. If the glove don't fit, you must acquit. The police in the O.J. case, they weren't egregiously bad in their investigative techniques. They did it the way they always did it.
Yeah.
But the O.J. defense team was able to make it look as if it was exceptionally bad.
Well, I think
and that
Mark
was enough.
Furman on tape dropping in bombs
Yeah, Mark Furman didn't help their cause.
things.
Yeah.
Right.
He didn't help their
Mark
cause
the
at all.
Fierman?
You what?
Mark the Fierman.
Oh yeah.
Doesn't anyone remember that joke? Come on, that was pretty funny.
Now, Bronca.
By the way, in a culture, in the LA Police Department, in a
Yeah.
culture where probably 50% of the cops had said the N-word in some joking
Oh, yeah.
context or another. Right? That's just the way cops
Fair.
are.
They probably
Right?
still do.
Yeah.
So, but his mistake was he said under oath, I never did it. And then they had a recording of him
Yeah.
did it. He actually got prosecuted for perjury, convicted, and forced out of the police department.
was he
he ended
convicted?
up just
Well,
a completely
but-
broken man.
Didn't he tell?
Sorry.
But didn't he tell the one prosecutor? Oh gosh, what was
Linda Drain.
Johnny Cochran told one of the prosecutors? Like, do not I have Mark Furman saying something. If you bring this guy up, I'm gonna crucify
Oh,
him.
seriously?
Yeah, he kind of said, "Hey, I've got some stuff on this guy."
Checks.
Well, I don't
like-
know. A lot of this stuff gets fabricated after the fact.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's
Well, I mean, like the guy who prosecuted Charles Manson and wrote a book and made a bunch of crap up.
Yeah.
I will.
Imagine if Kyle Rittenhouse had been convicted. What kind of book would Binger have written?
Oh dear
Be a
Jesus!
judge.
So that's what we have to keep in mind, right? These things are written
Can we
after
kick
the
him
fact.
out of the
It
Star
doesn't mean
Wars
they're
fan
true.
club? Can we do that? Collectively, as Star Wars fans, can we do that? And just
Binger's a horrible human being, and he will eventually see everything that he deserves to see.
Yeah.
This life or the next.
Now, going back to appeals, is it common, Bronca, to have to pay for the transcript if you're convicted? Or is that a Wisconsin thing?
No, that's
I
normal.
mean,
Yeah.
it is normal. It varies by jurisdiction. If you're destitute, often you can get the transcripts for free, but you have to qualify for being destitute, just like you have to qualify if you want a public defender. You have to be destitute. You know, you're supposed to be broke before you can get a public defender.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
But most states have a provision. If you're broke enough to get a public defender, they're not going to charge you for the transcripts.
So you're punished for your family selling everything.
Well, just
and-
like always.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, but your family and parents have to sell their house and
Well, no. Your family is not counted among your assets.
okay.
But obviously, if So my very first job in the law was as an investigator for a public defender's office, and what I was investigating is whether the people who wanted a public defender had any assets. Because we were not supposed to represent them if they had any assets.
Really?
They were supposed to go hire their own lawyer. Yeah.
Mm.
And so we'd interview them, and they would tell us a bunch of lies about how broke they were, and then we have to go find out all the stuff they owned.
Yeah.
But
this is what I like.
there's not supposed to be free lawyers in America if you can pay for your own. If you can't pay for your own, if you genuinely can't afford your own lawyer, then the state, gives you a lawyer. But it's not supposed to be like anyone can just say, no, I can't afford it, and you get one. That's not how it works.
Yeah, and this is what I like about the Scandinavian system is that not until after the trial, then they will submit their cost to the court system and say, this is what we spend on the defense.
So they haven't been paid up to that time?
No.
Or you mean the defendant will submit that?
No, the defense lawyers will submit to the court, this is our costs.
No. I would never do that. I get paid up front.
What happens
Bronca's
in
like,
Scandinavian court
we're
is
not
that
floating a
you
check
have
here.
this,
No, sir.
level of what you can call the Nash equilibrium, that the right to equal information and right to equal pay. That since the prosecution has this amount of money to spend, so does the defense. No matter who you hire, or appointed, most 99% is appointed, but you still get the same. I need to hire this expert. I need to hire.
We
this
do
one.
that kind of thing here too.
Yeah,
for someone who's got a public defender, they'll get money for expert witnesses.
Yeah, but they hire the people without knowing if they will get paid for it. So they can hire anybody to defend you.
Yeah. Bronca's not taking that job.
and in nine out of 10, because in the Scandinavian system, you have this system of equality. If the prosecution says, then you're allowed to hire an expert.
So it's always so interesting to talk to Nicholas about the different legal system, because it sounds great, and I don't have anything negative to say about it. I can only tell you how the American system works.
Yeah,
and that is, if a criminal defense attorney does not get paid up front, he doesn't get paid, because either his client is acquitted, and you got him off. F you, he doesn't have to pay anything. He's
not grateful,
or he may be grateful, but he doesn't have any money.
Yeah.
Or he's convicted and he's making license plates someplace and getting paid $30 an hour, and he doesn't have any money to pay you. So unless
he's going to pay you in Levi's.
Listen, man, I work on a lot of cases as a consultant, and they always ask me. They call me up. I'm like, yeah, it looks good. I'm happy to consult on the case. This is my fee, and my fee is a lot of fucking money.
Yeah.
And they say, well, when can you start working on it? And I tell them, well, the moment the check clears, I can start working on it. So I would recommend you overnight it, so we can, get working on this. But until that check clears, I'm not doing shit. Nothing's happening.
I'll go pick it up at TransUnion. Just wire me that shit.
Hey,
right
checks
now.
in the mail. Checks in the mail, Bronca. Don't worry.
Send the guy in the car with a big bag of cash, and I'll start working on it. And as soon as I
Bronca, we're floating the check until next payday. Okay, just
don't cash
it on the 3rd. Okay,
Andrew.
Everything you said is. Go ahead. My bad. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it's a throwaway comment, but I was gonna say everything you said is indicative of my DJ experience, because that's what we have to do. We don't get paid. We actually, the artists, the singer, the rappers, the singers, they get paid before us. So if we don't secure that fee before we start playing, we can kiss the. I've been there. When I was
so funny, but when I talk about this to the general public, they're always like, Andrew, you're so cold-hearted. You're such a monster. Lawyers are the devil. But when I talk to people who've actually been working in the system, they're like, You are fucking right. That's exactly how
Bro,
it is.
I see your. They don't see your wings, but I see it. I see it because I had to
This
do
sounds-
the exact same thing after I got burned the first time.
Right,
I mean,
right. Me too,
different-
man. Me too, brother.
Different. I know different fields, but we are the same people. Like we get treated
This sounds like
shit.
kids. This sounds like kids. You go out shopping with your kids, and your middle kid's like, I will pay half for these pair of shoes if you go halves with me, Mom. Like, I'll pay you when we get home. I talked to my middle daughter.
Most
She's like,
criminals are operating at a childlike level.
Well, yeah.
and I get home and
So-
I'm like, money, and she's like, you were serious about that?
Well,
like,
right.
that's
If,
a-
if we
oh,
get
yeah,
a
my
dog,
money.
I'll clean up after them.
Oh, you really
I'm like,
want me to pay you?
She's
Okay.
like, you really meant that? I'm like, go get my cash now.
No, I mean, when I was a young lawyer, I didn't do it this way, and I defended a client. I got him acquitted, and I said, "All right, I need my money now." And he's like, "Listen, dude, I got to be honest. I can either pay my mortgage and feed my family, or
hate
pay
that.
you, and I'm going to prioritize my family over you." And I was like, "Well, fuck, I
damn it.
get it. What an idiot I am. I should have gotten the money up front." So ever since then,
I mean,
I get
can you
the
do
money
like
up
a
front.
payment plan or?
No, it's so no.
Why
Believe
would I take a
me,
payment
believe
plan?
me.
That's
After
fair.
the night is
That's
done, it is good luck. That's what I'm gonna say. Good luck.
Mm.
I was lucky one time to even get a third of my fee. I was very lucky. Like I took it and ran and just never contacted the guy. I'm not. This is a true story. I actually
I had a guy
I
pay
was
me in food
underpaid,
one
and I was
time.
like, fine, I'll take it
Food?
and go.
Hey,
It was a guy who had cows, and he paid me in a bunch of beef.
Okay,
Which
that's
was better
actually,
than
I'll
not
take
getting paid
it.
at
Yeah.
all.
I will
Oh, yeah.
take
You
half
gotta
a
freeze
cow.
it. That's a
I
pretty
have
good deal.
6 kids. Pay me in half a cow. You will never
Oh,
see me
God.
again.
You never like because like oh Lord, like don't like and I'm glad you said it because I'm glad you said it because personally I want to go into law. So I actually didn't know it was that parallel. I actually didn't know it was that mirror of a, like
Well, yeah, for the most
but
part,
now
you're
that I
not.
see it's no different, I'm like, okay, fine. At least I know now to beef up.
For the most part, you're not dealing
Law
with
is like being
the-
a hooker. You get paid up front or you don't do the BJ.
right. For the
And
most
you
part,
still
you're
get
not dealing
fucked.
with like
I
the.
wouldn't have put it that way. You don't get the BJ anyway.
Oh, maybe for a female lawyer.
Oh Lord.
Oh.
But no. I mean, now I
By the
know.
way,
Now-
Dr. Hines, if you get into law, you're in the UK. Is that correct?
yeah, that's correct.
So
yeah.
I don't know if the rules are different there, the ethical rules are different. So it that may influence things. But I'm only speaking about how things work here in the US.
No, I don't know either. But now that I know that there's a parallel, like, look, listen, Murphy's Law, what can happen will happen. So I don't care if it's different in the UK or different in the US. I am making sure, like, unless my firm or whatever firm I sign up to, whatever says you will get your money and there's a guarantee. What I don't know.
Oh, that's different, right?
I don't even
a lot
trust
of firms
guarantee anymore. I don't even trust guarantees anymore. So.
a lot of law firms will let you do some pro bono work, and then they're guaranteeing your income. That's a completely
Yeah.
different situation.
Yeah,
You're not
yeah.
relying on the defendant then.
Yeah.
But it's like when you lend a friend money, right? Are you really
Right.
expecting to get the money back? Not really.
No.
You know, I mean, if you get it back, you're lucky. But really, you're thinking, if you're smart, you're thinking it as a gift that you'll never get back.
Absolutely.
If you take on a client without getting paid up front, it's a gift.
It's a gift.
You just gifted
Yeah.
your legal services to
Yeah.
that client.
And that is the thing with the union job, being a union rep and doing labor law. I am contracted to the union. I will represent the members. They all, and in the union I am representing has roughly 250,000 members, and all of them pay in a monthly fee, which gives them access to me.
Yeah.
And so
is it
when
like
I get
Jody
a
Arias
case,
prepaid legal services.
no, it's not prepaid legal services. No, so they
It's a
get
pyramid
access
scheme.
to me, who and in consequence also trial lawyers. I'm not a trial lawyer. I will never be, because you don't
You don't
want me
behave.
looking at you in the setting of a trial. But they pay me to represent. 250,000 people are paying to get access to me.
Yeah.
And in that, they get access to me representing these people in everything from, yeah, my employer is doing bad things, up to, oh, I accidentally killed someone.
Oh, really?
But Nicholas, could I? Oh, really? So both civil and criminal stuff.
I have to, when it comes to criminal, I have to pass it on to our the lawyers who conducted. Who conducts the criminal.
But it's kind of I mean, forgive me if I'm being offensive. You don't have to answer. I don't mean it that way, but I'm just trying to understand how the different legal kind of structures work. Yeah. But in your arrangement, is it kind of a fixed income arrangement, and you're providing services over the course of a year for a fixed income? Is that how it works? Or do you get paid more if you provide more legal services? Or
I'm not getting paid more. Regardless, I'm not getting paid more.
Okay.
The members pay in to get legal representation,
right? Okay.
Either if it's me or up to a criminal level,
right?
They still pay in to the representation, and if that part of the union says we will represent you in a criminal setting, then the union will represent you. Me, I am in the step below that. If I can fix it in a civil matter, I will do it. But if it doesn't, I have to pass it on. But
right. So in my arrangement, and for many independent American lawyers, your income is completely variable. It could be zero. It could be a lot of money. It's all a function of how you drive clients into your business and how valuable you're perceived by the clients, what they're willing to pay. But most lawyers in America make almost nothing. People don't really believe this, but I can tell you, most lawyers in America are not making much more money than if they were a manager of a Target shopping store.
I absolutely
and they have to pay off student loans.
I absolutely believe that. I absolutely believe everything.
So the percentage of lawyers that are making what we would probably call real money, like luxury money, is maybe the top 5 or 10%. Well, let me rephrase that. Probably the top 20%. Okay. So the top 10% are the guys who graduated from the top 5 law schools, the Harvards, the Yales. Yeah. Okay. They're working for big corporations. They're probably making millions of dollars a year. But below that top 10%, there's another 10% who are kind of, if you think of the car salesmen who make the most money, they're like making $1 million a year as a car salesman. They sell Porsches and Bugattis and those guys, right? So they're probably the second tier of the top 10% of lawyers. But once you get past that top 20%, most lawyers don't make a lot of money. They just don't.
Defenders and
they're just in the middle of the bell curve. You just don't make that much money. Your clients don't have that much money to pay. You're not providing that much value. You're not actually a world-class lawyer. You're just kind of an average lawyer. You do house closings, you do bankruptcies, you do divorces, you do kind of the technical legal stuff, which is valuable, but it's not $1 million valuable. It's kind of middle-class valuable.
Yeah.
Question.
For instance, you have Steve Leto, who does lemon law. If he only did lemon law, he would make a good living, but he also has this YouTube channel, which makes him a ton of money. And
who?
For instance, Steve Leto.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's a lawyer in...
Right, but it's making his money off YouTube.
Yeah.
He's not making it as a lawyer.
Well, that's one way. Exactly. One reason to go to law school.
And that is similar to me, as I don't make a lot of money after YouTube, but I am, what you call it?
Broke even?
Salaried lawyer, so to speak.
Right. Which is a very, listen, it's an honorable, completely honorable, secure position. You're getting paid a good wage for the legal services you're providing. And it's steady, right? There's advantages to that.
Yeah.
But I can tell you, I get asked all the time by people in America, hey, my kid's thinking of going to law school. Do you think they should go? My son's thinking of going. My daughter's thinking of going. And I'm...
Hi, David.
Hey, MLS.
Hey, how you doing?
What's up, David?
They get biased because they're looking at me, and I'm probably in the top 10 or 15% of lawyers in terms of income in the country. Yeah. And if my son or daughter goes to law school, they can do that too. And I'm like, oh my God, why would you do that to your child?
Yeah.
Don't make them go to law school. Most lawyers I know don't make a lot of money. They're miserable in their profession. They fucking hate it because they're dealing with
Drug addict.
clients.
What do you think I'm on
who are-
YouTube?
Who are horrible. Right? I mean, listen, we got a number. We have a number of lawyers here. Call me a liar. But most of the clients you're dealing with are fucking miserable. They're getting divorced. They're being prosecuted. They're going through bankruptcy. They're going through the work. I mean, they're miserable, and they don't have a lot of money to pay you. So,
Well,
listen,
none of
if
the
you-
clients have money to pay you. They are all at the worst possible situation they are in their lives. That's the only reason they're coming to an attorney. Whether they're going through a divorce or getting charged criminally or have to sue or are being sued, whatever, they're not in a good spot. So you deal with people at their worst. And yeah, it's a lot of draining.
Here's the question. Here's the question I have for both of you, because you both are experienced litigators. What when you guys say not a lot of money, what is the average amount that you guys are putting onto that? Be very honest. I actually want to know the average amount. Because
If I was to put an average, like what my clients pay overall, like for representation, start to finish
or do you
kind of
mean
thing.
what lawyers make? Is that
I
what
think
you're
he was
asking?
talking about
more or
lawyers.
less lawyers make.
Yeah.
Well, that's not really what the clients pay you, because that's net, but just the
I would
growth.
say what
Just the
most
growth.
lawyers make, in my experience, I would say is lower middle class, about what they would make if they were a competent manager of a
Figures.
Target shopping store.
And they have to work
like
6,
figure,
7.
figure.
Yeah,
Like-
I would say my wife's not a lawyer, and we make, fairly comparable wages.
Okay, all right. Just give me a ballpark range.
Well, so Michigan, we actually have law and statistics, which goes through and outlines the average gross income of an attorney in Michigan.
Such a lawyer answer, and fine.
No, what's the number?
So
I'm gonna pull it up.
He's not done yet. He's going to give you a number.
The reason why I asked that was because when DJs, I used to be a DJ, so when we say we're not making a lot of money, what we are talking about is we are not making 1K for an hour or 30 minutes set of work. So we're not making 1K. So that's that's the background I'm coming from. So
But the hourly rate doesn't matter. The hourly rate is bullshit because
Hold
a lot
on.
of lawyers.
Hold the fuck on. Hold the fuck on. Did you just say $1,000 an hour wasn't a lot of money?
that's why
I'm about to kick you in your
That's
throat
my
hole.
minimum. That was
No,
my
it's,
minimum.
it's not a
That
lot
was
of
my
money if
absolute
you're
minimum.
doing it 1 hour of the month. It's not a lot of money.
All right. So this is broken down quite a bit, but I'll do sole proprietor. So guys that are
you're
just
really
on their
lying.
own.
Like,
The median is 165. The
Who's
mean
talking?
is 232.
wait, who's talking? I'm
David.
trying to keep up.
Here at the
Oh,
back.
Lower your,
David.
lower your mic volume.
It buried me at the bottom.
I was trying to look.
Dave's mic is hot, but it's also very
he's the
loud.
bottom
But
square.
I would disagree with MLS in this respect. Not his actual data, which I presume is correct. But if he's looking at sole proprietorships in Michigan, is that correct?
Yeah.
All right. So we're talking about people who, by definition, have been successful in the law. They've been doing it long term. They're good at it, so they're getting paid a lot of money. But if you were looking at the people who were practicing law for 5 or 10 years,
Sure.
those people are not making shit, and a lot of them end up dropping out.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is not taken into consideration. Hopefully, my mic is better too. This is not taken into consideration people who are obviously not making it in the legal practice. These are people who are. We get these every couple of years. The State Bar of Michigan wants us to give them what our hourly rates are and what our average income is and things like that. And
Can
what
I
counties we
interrupt
practice in.
briefly?
Yeah.
David, are you doing that stream at 9:00 still?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to dip out gracefully, hopefully, and go do my barn chores so I can come on with you.
Okay.
And I
Nicholas,
think I
take care of
have
those
all
cats.
Yeah, the mini horses.
Nicholas, thank you so much for having me, as always, brother. I love and appreciate it.
I will have you on anytime. And yeah, when
Dr.
is
Hines?
David's next stream? What time?
36 minutes.
Yeah.
Yep.
In 30s?
9 Eastern.
Yeah, it's Whitmer. It's the Whitmer kidnapping trial day 4.
Okay. then I will have.
It might even be hard for you to find. No one else seems to be able to find it.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah,
how
I
that's
will have
working.
that. But here's the thing. For
All right,
instance,
goodbye, all.
in my case,
Nice to-
Bye.
I love you all.
Yeah, bye.
Goodbye, chat.
For instance, in the last 20 years, I've been doing this. I have been negotiating deals for just about. I calculated this a couple of weeks, about a month ago. For the past 20 years, I've been negotiating deals in the worth of roughly $500 million, and I'm still salaried. So I didn't get anything. I wish I was in the United States doing these deals.
Right. So where lawyers tend to break out in America most commonly is when they're
Yeah.
doing personal injury type of work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they get a percentage of the settlement. And the settlement could be $10 million. They get a third of that or maybe more. So they're getting $3 million at a hit. Here's the trick, though. A lot of people go to law school thinking, well, that's just what I'll do. But it's a very, very tiny, minuscule percentage of lawyers who can effectively pull that game off. You need to be exceptionally personable. You need to have exceptional connections in your community. So every time someone's in a car accident, they'll go, I'll call Timmy. Timmy's a lawyer now. They've known your family for like 3 generations. So you're the person they call. Or you have to be able to pay for millions of dollars worth of billboards. It's a volume business. You need to be able to drive the traffic into your business. And if you can do that successfully, you can be a very mediocre lawyer and make a lot of money. That is 1%, a fraction of 1% of the legal profession.
So Andrew, let me round out this statistics, by the way. So I said the median was 165. The 95th percentile is 750,000. Now, but that's sole proprietorship
What's the bottom
work.
5th percentile?
But that's working. Well, that's what I was going to get to. So that's working sole proprietor out of an office, sole proprietor out of a home. The median drops from 165 to 45,000.
That sounds about right to me. So 45 to about 60 grand is what, in my experience, most lawyers, average lawyers working in their first 5 years are making.
Yep.
See, that's why I asked, okay, what is the median? Like, so sorry, not median. I know I didn't say median. That's why I asked, what do lawyers actually make? Because I know a lot of people that would actually bite your hand off just to have a minimum 45K coming into their bank account.
But it costs a lot of money to get to that 45K. You have to go to law school.
Yeah.
You have those debts to pay back.
Yeah. No. 100%. 100%.
I mean, I always tell people when I mentioned earlier that parents often ask me, hey, my kid's thinking about going to law school. Should they go? I'm like, why would you do that to your kid?
No.
Because from my perspective, the skills you need to be truly successful at the law are much the same as you need to be truly successful in any other profession. At selling cars or doing anything else. Yeah. And you don't need to be a lawyer. It's not a license to print money. If you're really smart,
I do it because I like the courtroom.
And you're really personable, and you have generally good skills, you'll be successful in anything. You'll be your county's your whatever they call it in the UK, I don't know. You'll be your area's best plumber, most successful plumber, or car salesman, or whatever, because those are just general characteristics for success. But there's nothing about being a lawyer that automatically gets you money. That's ridiculous. There's most lawyers are not. I know a lot of lawyers who spend their whole goddamn career making $60,000 a year.
I will tell you this. Like, I study business, and I will tell you, lawyer as a profession is the last thing I would actually recommend any person to start a business on. I wouldn't recommend someone to start. I just wouldn't do it.
I tell people, if you have a passion
unless you're hiring a dream team to join your firm, I wouldn't recommend you start a firm.
I tell people, listen, if your kid, since he was 9 years old, dreamed of being a lawyer, that's his passion, well, then you do it. You would do it even if you made no money, because you're just driven to do that. But if it's not a passion, if it's just like you're trying to make a rational decision about career,
just to make money.
The last one I would make is being a lawyer.
Absolutely.
because very few people can truly be highly successful at it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And,
I think they're
hello,
called Paris's. Or
Excited Doctrines just moved in.
Hello.
Hey, thank you
Hello,
for
guys.
disrupting
Oh
the.
my
I'm
God,
not
she's
sure we've met.
real.
Excited Utterance.
She's real.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
You
I'm
follow me
real.
on
My
Twitter,
country
Bronca,
might not
but-
be real.
Yeah.
I'm not going to try and convince you my country's real.
Excited Doctrines is from an imaginary country.
Yeah.
Doesn't
And
exist.
But I'm
It's,
also way ahead of all of you.
Is
No,
it
you still don't
lunch?
exist.
Is it lunchtime at your place?
10:30 a.m. actually.
Yeah,
But
I woke
am
up
way
early
ahead
for
of
my
all of
stream.
Ah.
you. My stream.
No offense,
actually.
but every time that a woman pops up on the stream, I'm like, this is another opportunity for a woman to hate me. So we'll see how it goes.
You know what, Bronca? I already hate you. So.
Oh, there you go.
No.
Yes, I didn't even have to try. Nothing
Oh,
but
Bronca. No, Bronca. I have no tie Bronca moments. That's what people always ask me to have no tie Bronca moments. So
I know.
you and I on a stream, we would repeal the 19th
Oh, God.
Amendment.
Oh, Mo
Really?
and Branca on
Yes.
the same stream
Oh,
would
God.
be amazing.
We would totally
Branca,
stop women from
you
voting.
need to
That's
have
By
wouldn't
the
be-
way,
elections.
when I say I would stop women from voting, what I really mean is I would stop most people from voting. Most
Yeah.
people
Yes,
should not be
well,
voting.
me too.
Men
I would-
and women.
Yeah, raise it to
intelligence-
25 minimum.
Yeah,
Well,
we need
do an IQ
we
test.
need a
Here in
Branca
Australia,
Mo
everyone has to
moment.
vote.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my God,
We
yes.
have-
a
we
And
have
moment.
how's that
Everybody
working out
hate
for you?
It works really well.
No, it's
Because
Yeah, you
not.
get
the thing
fined
is-
if you don't.
Well, what happens is we don't have to worry about convincing people to vote because they have to. So we don't, every election, we don't have this big thing where there's a campaign to make people vote. People go vote. And you know how we get people to
That
go
sounds
vote? Apart from
terrible.
the fact
That sounds
they
like a
have to.
terrible idea. That means you're
Well, you know
having
what?
people
No,
vote
God,
who
please tell people to stop
people
voting.
who are voting are you have people voting who genuinely care about the issues, and then you have people voting who actually don't give a shit, but you're making them take a little piece of paper.
Yeah,
How
that's
is that
gonna
bad.
get you to
That
a
sounds
better
really
outcome?
bad.
You know
We
what
should go back to
happens,
property owners only vote.
though? They
Yes,
get,
I'm
they
good
get
with
what's
that.
called a democracy sausage, right? And the democracy sausage, everyone wants a democracy sausage. So they come out
No, I
and
don't.
they get.
I,
You wait and see.
this
The
sounds
democracy
vaguely
sausage is
sexual, but
great
I'm
because
listening.
it's like a snag on the barbie, right? So we don't actually call it a snag on the barbie. We just call it a democracy sausage. But everyone gets a free sausage. So you come along and there is this sausage. Everyone, it's big sausage sizzle, right? And you come out.
It's a sausage
and
fest.
It's a sausage fest, yeah. And everyone wants one, right? Because it's free.
Especially
It's
You know,
Dave.
boobs get more action, right? Like,
Yeah.
like say boobs and people will come out. Tits
People
get
actually
everyone,
come
right?
out to vote, and they're like, "We get this sausage. It's on a piece of bread, and it's delicious." And they come out to the local like primary school. They
Pause.
get their sausage and they vote. And
Pause.
Have
they
sausage
think
at
about it a little
primary
bit
schools?
generally. If
Bribing
they really,
people
really
to
don't want to
vote?
vote, they'll do what's called a donkey vote. So they'll just come in
So-
and they'll
Better,
just go,
better than
So
a donkey
would it be
show.
fair to say that if we were to survey the Australian population, fully half the population is below average intelligence? Would that be
that's
fair to
every
say?
population.
Well, that's a statistical
Would that be
reality.
true? Right? Would that be true to say?
It has to be
Yours as
by
well.
statistical reality.
So why should the half of the population that's below average intelligence have the same vote as a percentage of the population that's above average intelligence?
Why
In a
not?
rational way,
Everyone should
explain to
have
me why that should be.
Everyone
chance
is
to
very
vote,
equal.
shouldn't they? Even if they're stupid.
No,
Everyone's
no,
very
no,
equal.
no.
Why?
Everyone's
No,
very equal.
criminals don't get the chance to vote. Children don't get the chance to vote. Foreigners
In our
don't get the
country,
chance to
criminals
vote. We
do.
have all kinds of exclusions for who gets to vote, don't we? Yes?
Criminals are
In our country, criminals
The
do have the
legally
chance to vote.
insane don't get to vote.
There are
Which is
people
why
who
I'm
don't
against
get to
women.
vote. Is that
No, I'm just
correct?
kidding.
Only
People
under
from
18.
America
Those
don't get to
people.
vote in the Australian election. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, they're not citizens.
Right. So you have exclusions for who can vote and who cannot vote.
What about
So
mentally
why not
insane?
exclude the 50% of the population that's below average intelligence? Wouldn't that make rational sense?
Damn it, I want to vote in Australia.
It wouldn't make rational sense.
No,
You're
because
being dishonest. It does make
Why?
rational sense. It may not make political sense, but it does make rational sense.
no,
because
I
why
don't
should
think so.
stupid
Because
people
how
get
do
the
you
same
work out
vote as
who's
smart
below-
people?
Who's below intelligence? How do you work that out?
because every man is born equal.
Okay.
do you
Yes,
work
they're
that
born
out?
equal, but they
Throwing
don't
us
all have
down,
equal
and
intelligence.
I'm tired of it.
I
How do
don't
you work that
disagree.
out?
However,
I don't necessarily agree with an IQ test to vote, but I do
IQ?
agree.
Yeah.
I don't
how do you
agree
work
with
that
an
out?
IQ test to vote,
So we
but I
could
do
pick a
agree that
different
there should be some
arbitrary test.
restrictions.
We could make it property ownership,
Yep.
right? That would be an
That's where it
indication
started.
of intelligence, right? People who
Okay,
are
so what's
smart enough
property
to be-
ownership? Owning 100% of your home or having a mortgage?
Well,
that's
there's
owning
impossible.
100%
That's
of
not
your home.
practical nowadays.
100%.
That's
So
actually
you'd
not
be
100%.
therefore have to be quite old.
Why?
no. You can have
You
a
can buy a
mortgage on your
modest
property.
home.
Most people own their home until they're over 50.
We're already in a gerontocracy. I mean, why change what stroke Mitch McConnell's already telling us?
Well,
No, people
really
could buy
we have a
very
fundamental
modest
issue
home
in
and become a
society
property
where they
owner if
continue to
cared.
vote for names. It's a popularity contest rather than a who's
I
most
know, how is
qualified
Dianne
contest.
Feinstein
I
still
really
on
wish
the...
Megan was here. I wish Megan Fox was
There's a
here.
lot
so
of
much.
there are
She
many
would love
many
this conversation.
there are many indicia of quality that we could pick. It could be military service, it could be property ownership, it could be citizenship, which we already do, it could be intelligence. There's lots of indicia, but the only way we're doing it now is absolutely the worst way, which is no indicia. If you're a citizen, you could be an idiot, you can have no property, you can be completely unproductive, you can be a crackhead, and you get the same vote as the smartest person in that country, and that is irrational.
Isn't it democracy?
Democracy is hell.
We are not in
Okay.
a
Fine,
democracy.
that's how you feel.
For the love of all that
Democracy
is
is the
holy.
two wolves getting to choose whether or not the sheep survives. That is democracy. No country should have that.
We are
No
a
country should
Okay,
have
so you're against
absolute mob
democracy.
rule.
Okay.
we aren't a
Democracy is
democracy.
mob rule. Democracy is
Oh.
51% of the people get to decide if the other 49 live. That is hell.
And to be fair, you're Australian, so most
Yes.
Americans don't even understand we aren't a democracy. So
Yeah, we're not
It-
very smart.
Sure.
But we also don't understand where Australia is either.
Because
so-
that's
No,
what
you
it means,
guys don't.
democracy, right? That means 51. If there's
Yeah.
100 people in the population, the 51 could decide the other 49 die.
yeah,
That's absolutely
Majority
true.
rule. That is democracy.
That is majority rule.
That's why the
Exactly.
Greeks hated it, and that is why it is hell. Because
Indeed.
the subordinate population is completely at the mercy of the majority, and nobody
It
would
is.
want to live in
and
that
then you end
kind of
up with Katie
society.
Hobbs. as
However, I
governor.
don't quite understand your argument as to like how you would decide who gets the vote.
I'm not trying to make a particular recommendation. I'm saying there's lots of criteria that could be chosen, but the only bad criteria is that there is no criteria.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I'm
just
sure
want to
with
say
you on
that
that.
No, I
my
understand emotionally you don't like that answer, but
I'm
do you
not
have a
emotional
rational
about it.
counter argument?
yeah.
My rational
just
counter
want-
argument
yeah,
is that all
I just want to
citizens
say that
should
my
have a vote if they're over
Friday-
18.
That's an emotional argument. That's not a
it's
rational
not.
counter argument.
No, that's democracy.
My Friday streams
And you
are
don't like democracy.
amazing.
So bye.
My Friday streams are because I have no idea
Okay.
where it's going, where it started,
So-
because I started out as a complete drunk.
Hey, I think Kaiser is in the background.
Oh.
Hey, Nicholas, yeah, are you going to bring Kaiser in or is
I was
he-
wondering if Nick was waiting. Hey, Kaiser.
Hey, what's going on, y'all?
I was looking out for you.
Kaiser
So-
pineapple.
We need to know what Kaiser thinks about the voting
Yeah.
rights.
By
Yeah,
the way,
Kaiser.
I was gonna
guys,
say you need to bring on your token
Speaking of
normie.
pineapples,
by the way, guys, I am not political
Uh,
at all. So
no,
everything
I
that-
think it's the other way
everything that you guys are
around,
saying,
Brandon.
everything that you guys are saying, are going over my head. Like,
It's okay. Your overlord is a frail old man and a baby.
I haven't voted since 2018,
Joe
since
Biden?
Queen
That
Elizabeth.
was funny.
I don't have an interest in this. Like,
Oh, I wish I could bring
Everyone is
cats up. I
bad.
can't.
everyone is bad. Everyone can't. No one can help me. So therefore, you guys are just. Let me not. Let me
This
not.
is amazing. I love this discussion we're having right now because
Yeah.
it's all over the playing field, and we're having a drink
Oh.
and we're having fun.
Yes.
Kaiser, I would like to preemptively apologize for the terrible, horrible use of pineapple in the entire trial that we are using, and
Pineapple.
the abuse
Oh,
of
yes.
pineapples in general in the trial.
It's okay.
Um,
I
Your
mean,
Wilson,
moniker is
that's
all over the
interesting.
trial.
Chuck
Yeah.
Wilson. Where are you from, Chuck Wilson? You had to pass
Who?
a literacy test in order to register to vote.
New Hampshire,
New
America.
Hampshire, 1968. Really?
Oh.
And why shouldn't we require that? Why should we allow illiterate people who cannot read writings on the law, on politics? To,
Well, I mean, we need to
how
make
can they
sure people
possibly
can
Can we
have
actually
an
allow
informed-
illiterate
Can we-
people to enter into contracts? What?
Now
Can
that
we?
is
Nicholas is
very
hitting buttons.
interesting.
I mean,
And
we got to make sure
something
people
that's
actually have an ID to vote first. How about that?
Well, there we go.
that's-
Can we all
that's a
agree that we have to
racism right
identify
there.
ourselves?
You do need to have an address.
You have to require citizenship and an
Does
ID
Australia
to vote. How about
require
that?
an ID to vote? When you go to vote, do you have to show an ID?
No, but you do need to have an address to be on the electoral roll. So
Well, then that's the same as an ID, pretty much.
pretty
Um,
much.
also-
so
But-
therefore, if
You have
you're
to be a
homeless,
citizen
I
to have
don't
an
see
ID.
how you can vote. Even though
No,
you're
because
supposed to.
because people show up. In America, at least, what happens is people.
Yeah.
So they have when you show up, there's people. The poll workers have big books of addresses, and they look up
Yes.
at your address and they write a line through it,
Yeah.
right? When you show
That's
up to
right.
vote. But anyone can show up and say, "I live at X address," and as
Mm.
long as the person who actually lives at that address hasn't voted yet, it hasn't been crossed out yet, the fake
Yeah.
person gets the vote, and they cross out the line. And then when the
Correct.
real voter shows up, his address has already been crossed out.
Yeah.
So what's
Yeah.
the legitimacy in that?
Unless you're in
Well,
Maricopa
it's no
County,
legitimacy, and that's
and then
electoral fraud, and you can be fined.
Look, as far as I'm concerned, there
Tabulators
should
just
only
don't
be
read it.
3 qualifications. There should only be 3 things that you should be required to have
Gun
to
ownership.
vote. You need to have 1,
gun.
an identification. 2, you need to be able to be a citizen, and then 3, you have to have a pulse.
Okay.
Well,
here's
number
what
3 is
happens.
optional for
You
Democrats.
actually get sent a letter.
I know, that's the problem.
beforehand, and it's got like a barcode on it or like a QR code. And when you arrive at the voting booth, you're supposed to bring the letter, and they scan it so you go through quickly. If you don't have your letter with you, that's okay. They will accept an ID or some other form to show that you live there.
Oh, okay.
And that makes it slower. So that encourage you to bring your letter with a little QR
so
code on it.
they send
This is
you
only
a
in
letter
recent
to your
years.
home. So
Yeah,
they
they
have
send a
to
letter to your
verify
home.
Are you guys
that-
voting electronically or still paper ballots?
Well, it's all still paper ballots because electronically
Oh,
is
God.
Never go
like,
digital.
still fraught with fraud.
Well, I think
we have-
Runback
Never
has
go
a
digital.
opening in Australia.
Who does?
Runback.
Dr. Hines, you're from France, right?
You
can
know,
tell by the
Luton,
hat.
that famous
No,
French
Germany.
city.
You literally took off your hat.
Let me say hello to you.
Put some name in there. Picked that name. I was like, okay, France. We're gonna go with France. We're gonna go with France. He's from France, right?
Luton, the famous French city.
Isn't that a bottle of French wine behind your head? Is that
Listen,
ketchup? Is that
we're American. If it didn't happen
That's
in
a
Harry
ketchup
Potter
bottle.
or in World War
That's a
II, we
ketchup
don't know
bottle,
about
sir.
it.
Yeah. Europe is just all one jumbled mess of
It
people.
really is.
Of France.
Like if it isn't
It's a
Germany,
jump one.
It's all part of France.
So
yeah,
part of
it really
France.
is.
We all
2
answer
world wars.
to
That's all I got to
We
say.
all answer to Normandy. We all answer to Normandy.
Aren't you still with
If
Last
didn't
time
learn
we
about
got
it in
involved in
Sound
2
of
major
Music.
conflicts, it was only because y'all started starting shit.
I know.
We had to go over there and
If
finish
you-
it.
If you ever want to see exonery in action, hatred of other peoples in action, just go to Europe. Every single country hates every other country. The French will talk about the Germans. The
But
British will talk about the
European
French.
Union is so great.
I'll be in Sweden with my in-laws next week. I should bring them on a stream. Just hear what they have to say about other countries
Oh god.
in Europe.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, listen
will
to
say-
oh my
Baker
God,
and
shitting
Dick
on
talk
every
about
other
each other.
I will say that the Brits do like the Scandinavians for some reason. I don't know why, but we love them. I have no idea why.
Well, they're very pretty.
I mean, outside of that,
You seen them?
I'm just speaking as a man. Like,
they're, they're very
bikini,
tall,
the
very pretty.
bikini team was always very
Well,
cultural exports
we
and
are
such.
related.
I always rooted for the
not
volleyball
maybe
team.
we and the English and the Welsh and the we are related. Just
All
not
those
maybe
invasions.
by choice.
All those
And,
friendly cultural exchanges.
Just
I
say
will now
hi.
rape you in conquest. Hey, we're on
I'm
the
so
I mean,
Cultural,
Nick and I,
cultural,
Nick and I are the same
appropriation.
complexion for a reason, okay?
I will
Yeah.
say this. I will say this. I'm probably the only guy that doesn't actually, vote in any of your general elections. And I will say this. after watching you guys, after watching everything, and
None of
because
us
I
should
do,
vote.
huh?
None of us
None
should
of us
vote.
should vote.
No. People should vote.
Wait, you
I
didn't
actually
vote
do
in our
think that
last
people.
election?
I actually do think that I took a position that was based on just pure. How do I put it? Hatred
Fuck the system.
for my. No, not
Oh.
for the system. It was just
Oh,
pure
that's how I
hatred
vote.
for my. Because I used to be a liberal Democrat, which is kind of like I don't know
Most
the
people did
equivalents
when
of.
they were
I'm not
20.
gonna say it, but they really let me down. So it was more like through the Monopoly board, you know.
You were red pilled.
I get it.
I
That's
wouldn't
how
say
I
red
feel
pill.
about
I
every
wouldn't say-
Democrat.
You just
No,
wanted to
no.
throw a Molotov
Party
in the
America.
system?
Nah. I just tossed the board and just said, F it. I'm not gonna play along anymore. So it's one of those ones where I don't know whether a political party have to meet an insane
so Trump.
expectation or whether I'm actually a sane human being to have
No, I think that's a
expectations.
completely sane, reasonable response. I mean, you're fed up with the political party or the political system, and you want to burn it all down. You vote to burn it all down.
Why
I
do you
think
think
that's
I
a
support
rational
Trump so much?
political position.
Honestly, if there was a party, and I'm being serious, I'm not even an anarchist. That's how bad this is. I actually hate anarchy. I'm actually against anarchy.
No, those guys are gay.
If there was a party, that promised a reform, if there was a party that came in here and said, we're going to burn this all down, and you get to choose.
That's your next T-shirt. Anarchists are gay.
Anarchists are
Merch store
gay.
everywhere.
Put it in
Actually, I've
rainbow
never met
letters.
Dr. Hines before. So are you still in the UK or have you migrated somewhere better?
Well, he's leaving
No,
now.
I am unfortunately still in the UK.
He's being
The
kicked
worst-
out of
What I've
London right
noticed
now.
about Dr. Hines is he's still completely obsessed with Johnny and Amber.
Wait, is that a ketchup
my
bottle
flipping
behind you?
hell. Gosh, obsessed.
No, it's a wine
I
bottle.
don't think the right
I
word
hope.
is obsessed.
Oh, really? Tell me.
Interested is the right word.
People
I
actually still have interest in that?
I prefer interested. I prefer
Very.
intrigued.
A woman tried to burn an innocent man's career to the ground. That's worthy of innocence, of interest.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
also
very
should.
interesting.
Absolutely.
I thought we already
That is
settled
not
that one,
obsessive
though.
at all. That is not obsessive. That is not obsessive. That's just
I mean, Amber Heard was the Eve in that story.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Johnny was
She
the
just
Adam,
needed to be potty trained.
right?
Absolutely.
Amber Heard was the chaos, the negative agent, the agent of evil in that relationship, and it was great to see her held accountable ultimately.
Who in the hell
It
told her to
stopped
dress
the
like
Me
Eva
Too movement
Braun,
in its
though?
tracks. That
Yeah.
case did.
Kind of.
That is the bad part of because the Me Too movement, when it started, it was amazing. Because
No,
they actually
it's always bad.
Well, I mean, in
not
theory.
the first year or two, it was amazing because
It actually
they
was
could
good for the first year.
expose a lot of
It really
things
was
that
good for the
bad.
first
Yeah, I mean, the Epstein
But
Island and
A lot of people, oh, this got into it. Let's put myself into it.
Can I give you
And
a different
then-
perspective?
Okay.
So the start of
Sure.
the Me Too was around Hollywood in America, where all these actresses were saying, "Oh, this guy, whatever his name, Weinstein, I forget his name,
Harvey
doesn't matter.
Weinstein.
Weinstein.
Alice
I
in
literally have a
Weinstein.
movie guy
Alice
right
in
Oh
here.
my
Wonderland.
God, he did horrible things to us, blah, 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 blah.
Madonna.
Every single one of those women went to that couch with their legs spread to get apart. They were willing participants in that. They knew exactly what was going to be asked of them when they got to his office, and they willingly engaged in that conduct in the hopes of becoming multimillionaire actresses. That was the quid pro quo. They perfectly well understood. Nobody went to Hollywood as a virgin and got raped by Harvey Weinstein, shocked that that's what it was required to succeed in Hollywood. So no, even
Thank
that part
you.
of the Me Too movement was complete bullshit. These women knew exactly what they were doing. They were using their sex for personal advantage, as women do. It's fine. I'm not
Yes.
complaining about the women, but the claim afterwards that they were taken advantage of is utter bullshit.
Oh,
No one sleeps with a
You're
man that
doing
looks
hot
like a,
takes today.
a troll director.
I can see
an
Dr. Hines
opinion?
has never seen me on the internet before. He's like,
not without a tie.
the funny thing
And
is,
can we get an
that
opinion
has been
from
happening
the women
since Marilyn
on the
Monroe,
panel,
and we
just
all
so I-
knew it.
since
Oh,
Genghis
come on
Khan. Genghis Khan was the first Harvey Weinstein.
Hell, even Nancy
That's why his
Pelosi banged
DNA is in
JFK.
30% of the human
Cleopatra
population.
slept with a bunch of powerful men. Come on now. We have
Damn, I
always
wish I
been
was
using
Egyptian.
this
I actually,
Helen
the funny
of
thing
Troy.
is, the funny thing is, yeah, I actually do a show that's called The Source, and it's actually for hot takes like this.
Well, have me on.
Oh, God. Oh Lord, yes, I am. I want you to say this again.
And this is why Bronca and I can't be together because the nexus of
Oh God.
Who's talking?
I love this.
And
no, because
as a
because the thing is,
Viking
I don't actually
descendant,
disagree with what you're saying, because everything that you said is the spawn of what we have now. Where for example, there's this actor, this awkward actor from damn it, I forgot the name of the show. Oh damn it,
That 70s show.
No. Is the Asian guy? Flipping neck.
But did you
there's a
die?
billion of them.
Recreation, Parks Recreation. That's the one. Parks Recreation. That awkward guy.
Oh, Aziz Ansari, the Indian guy.
That's him.
Oh,
Yeah.
the one that got
Aziz
the awkward
Ansari.
blowjob and then
All
she was
this
all
guy
upset.
did. No, I kid you not. All Aziz Ansari did, was go to his house, take this girl back from a party, and then what ended up happening? He tried kissing her. She didn't like it. He was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that you didn't like that." Okay, cool. And then she said, "Oh, I would like to go home now." He's like, and then Aziz was like, "Okay, that's fine. The door is right there. You can go home. I'm just gonna put on the movie and watch and go to bed." Blah 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 blah. Next minute, she goes home. Aziz Ansari is on everywhere. Called a predator. Called a flipping, I don't know what the name is called, all
because he didn't pay for the girl cab home. That's it. The girl claims sexual assault. The girl claimed that, oh my gosh, he was sexually assaulted me because he was a bit too forward with him going to kiss.
All these women with these triple-digit body counts are supposed to be virgins when they run into Harvey Weinstein. I'm sorry, I don't fucking believe it. You're whores, you're whores, you're whores.
Okay,
you just
and
didn't get paid that time.
Well, and here's
Well,
the
she
bad
got
part. And then
paid and-
women are
Well, I
bitching
kinda
that men
did.
won't mentor them because they're afraid of getting what
Well, that's
in the
an
Jesus
that's an
is
unexpected
this?
consequence of the Me Too
This is
movement.
a
I
pineapple
will
saw this
personally-
thing.
banana pizza.
Okay.
Why has it got banana on
This
it?
is
That's
a
what I
sign of
wanna
the
know.
end times. What in the holy hell is this?
Right.
That's a banana
Why has it got
pizza.
banana?
That's a great
Why
pizza, by the
banana?
way.
That looks like
Tell
Amber
me-
Heard's last
I
pap
would,
smear.
I would just break things off with a banana
Lord.
pineapple pizza.
Bronco.
That is cancer.
Really?
Oh my god.
Really? Of all the offensive things you
I was trying
said,
to get it off screen.
that was it. Really? Really?
I just
Really?
thought I would break things off with a banana pineapple
Really?
pizza.
I'm sorry. I mean,
Really?
that was terrible.
That Amber Heard reference. I'm gonna watch.
Are
this
you
thing,
asking me
man,
really
and
if
I'm
I
gonna
really
take that
thought it was her
reference.
pap smear? The answer
I'm
is
going
no.
to take that reference. That's
If you're asking me, did I think it
That
was
is
funny?
insane
Yeah, I thought it was funny.
That was hilarious, but it was hilarious. Look, it's the end. Look, I have to look to be very clear and honest with you. I have to go to the town where, like, I have to go to the town where my look. I have to go to a cross country meet tomorrow, so I'm having fun tonight. So,
So you'll be hungover.
oh no, I won't be. I won't be hungover.
No, you're not David.
Jesus Christ.
By
Wait,
the way,
wait.
in the comments, I'm not trying to suggest that all women are whores. Just most of them.
And on that note, I'm going to jump off so I can get ready for my stream.
Yeah.
Nicholas, you have a wonderful
Yes.
Friday. This is a great
Thank-
stream.
thank
Wait,
you,
wait,
David, and,
wait,
we'll-
MLS, before you go,
Yeah.
do you actually watch the MLS?
No.
Oh, fuck. What's the point of your name then?
I don't know what are you talking about.
and,
Isn't it soccer?
Dr. Hines, what does MLS stand for? What does MLS
Major League
stand
Soccer.
For? Oh,
Yeah,
it's
soccer.
not
Changing it.
football, is it? It's not
Huh?
football.
Well, it's
soccer.
Mexican law
It's
show.
not
Oh,
football.
go away. There you are.
Gotcha.
Bye, guys. Take care, everybody.
Bye, David.
Take care,
Bye,
everybody.
David.
And everybody who is in the chat, I will redirect you to David's next stream. I have no idea what's it about, but David
What is
is
David
an
doing next?
excellent lawyer.
Michigan.
The
And,
Whitmer trial.
Excellent friend of mine. And yeah, this will be excellent. And while we are waiting, thank you, Mo. Thank you, Andrew Branca. I love having
Are you sure
Andrew
you're
Branca
thankful?
on.
You might not be
I
when
was
you're
about to
sober.
say, me and
Because
Bronca
for
maybe
you
not.
for you who doesn't know, me and Andrew Branca is on the polar opposite of political and lawyery things. And I still love having
I
him
wouldn't say
on.
that. I think we're
Yeah, well,
in terms
sort
of
of.
ethics.
No.
Yeah. And
Bronca,
then you have
you are one of my
Dali
favorite
Talks
people.
and Dr. Heinz, who should be the biggest channel on fucking YouTube. I mean, the content he brings out is amazing.
Hey, Dr.
It's-
Hines, what is your channel? I'm not familiar with it. I'm sure
Yes,
much of the audience isn't. What is it? I'm
I think
going
this
to
is the
YouTube
first
right
time I've
now.
been on with
Jesus
you
Christ,
too.
I did not
Sorry.
expect to. I did not expect to get put on a spot like this, but
Get that grip.
okay. Right, Dr. Hines. I just do investigations, and I'm just that guy. I'm just that nerd that never had an opportunity to shine when he was in school. You know, to really show his nerdy ways. I look at stupid details that people don't consider, and I make a story out of them.
All right,
So-
but dude, I'm not looking
sounds
for
very
a date.
familiar,
I just want to
dude.
know how to find your YouTube channel. How do I
That's
find
fine.
your YouTube channel?
That's
Long
okay.
walks on the beach. It's all great, but how do I
That's
find your
okay
YouTube channel?
too.
Dr. Heinz
I
is
can't-
making documentaries about the Depp v. Heard trial, which is top level. Absolute
What is it
top
though?
level.
When I put Dr. Hines into YouTube, I find this Dr. Hines Ermitellen. Is that you?
That's me.
That's you. Okay, good,
Okay.
good,
Yeah.
good. All right,
All right.
subscribe, man.
Okay. Yeah.
Subscribe
If
to
one
me
of the
too,
mods
please.
could put it up on the thing, that would be
Yeah,
great.
that would be great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we can talk about long walks on the beach.
Yeah. Bronca isn't a whore. He needs to know you first before he subscribes.
Right.
Hey, buy me. Hey, everything that Branca did is the equivalent of buy me dinner first.
He'll wait till your second stream to sleep with you.
20
Oh
bucks
my
is 20
God.
bucks.
Hey,
yeah.
you gotta pay me money
Which,
for
which,
that.
by the way, just look at
You gotta pay
TikTok.
me for that first.
These gals don't need dinner first. They complain about not getting dinner first, but they don't need it.
He buy him
They're
dinner
like, I'm
after.
not doing
Everybody
coffee
go
dates
over to-
anymore, which means you've been
Yeah.
doing it for the last 10 years. So I guess I'll keep trying coffee dates.
They're getting meat either way.
Yeah, go over to Dr. Heinz Ermitellen, subscribe like everything is done. The same with Excited Utterance, who
Hello.
joined us a bit late. Amazing woman, amazing everything. Just get there and watch everything she's ever done. The
Which
same
is not
goes
very
to
much. I've only been streaming a week. However, I've been on Sal's channel for a
Yes.
month or more, and that's all over in my shared playlist. But guess what? The Dingo Live is happening on Tuesday, and you
Yes.
can't come, Nick.
The dingo?
Excited Utterance is actually doing an entire coverage of Dingo Ate My Baby.
Yeah, because
And-
most people don't even think it's real. I
Yeah.
discovered.
Eat my baby.
People think it's just a line from a movie, but it's a real
Well,
thing. And a dingo really did eat a baby. And that was
Yeah.
back in 1980. And you would be amazed at the travesty of justice that occurred. That
All right, but in
lady
fairness,
I only
was.
remember Meryl
1980 was
Streep
what,
vaguely playing
43
her.
years ago. Let's give the dingoes a
Indeed.
break. They had one bad day 43 years ago. Come
It
on.
actually had quite a few bad days. But she had a worse
Dingoes
day.
unfairly represented.
She had a
Right,
worse,
then
she
see
had a
the
worse
dingoes
day.
out there with little boards, dingoes
Like,
justice.
hey.
You know the brilliance of this is
Dingo
Bronca's
lives
out there
matter.
Bronca's out there going after
Lives
big
do
bulls,
matter.
but he defends a dingo.
Kaiser.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Pit bulls are too far.
And
but dingoes are okay.
Dali Talk,
Yes.
say something.
I do court cases, cover trials. Not a lawyer, just followed over 30 trials at this point. Funny moments in
More
court.
than most lawyers.
Fair.
See-
So yeah, I enjoy watching, learning about court and the law.
See,
Yeah.
this
And-
is. Sorry.
Now go on, Dr. Heinz.
Sorry.
Go on.
No,
No,
I was
go
gonna, I was only gonna say, you see, like I actually love art. Like I actually love it with a passion. I go to museums and I go to the exhibitions. If you actually were doing a channel that does segments of talking about just art and interpretation of art, etc., I would have. I geek over that stuff. Like I literally.
You should start that channel.
No. I don't see the money in it. See,
Yeah.
this is the
Well,
thing.
that's why no one
I
else
studied-
does.
I
it.
studied business for a
That's why
reason.
nobody
I
else
studied
does it.
business for a reason. I studied business to follow the money because I always knew I'm not good with money. I have this soft spot within me, so that's why I studied business.
Yeah.
There's no money in art. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for anyone who's trying to be an artist, who is trying to be a musician.
Oh, tell me about it. I'm a
There
graphic
is
designer.
No money in art.
Spitting
Canva
truth.
took my job.
Spitting truth.
The only chance you have, and I will say this, I think I said that to excited utterance. Like the only chance you have is when you have mediums like this, where like YouTube, you can actually express your art. That's it.
Yeah.
Every avenue is gone because the big conglomerates has gone into it before you did.
Now,
Unfortunately-
Fiverr has destroyed it for graphic artists.
Absolutely.
I mean, I run a multi-million-dollar business, and we need graphic design from time to time. I go on Fiverr. We put out a request. We get a bunch of stuff.
$5.
We pick the best one. We pay
Literally.
$35, and we make hundreds of thousands of dollars off that piece of graphic
Do you
art.
want to know what
Oh,
$5 is in pounds? That's £3.50. Do you
It's
know
crazy.
I can buy?
I've actually
I can't even
become
buy
a
a Big
design
Mac
teacher
with £3.50. I can't
Oh, that's a
even go
good
to
idea.
I make
McDonald's.
money from
I
that.
buy a
I
Big
didn't.
Mac
I didn't mean this
for
personally
$3.50.
about you. I'm
No.
sorry if it came
No.
across.
No,
that
she
way.
teaches.
That's okay. I got graphic design degrees too, so you know.
You understand what
Yeah,
I'm saying,
Kaiser,
though,
I'm
right?
Exactly.
No.
That's why I
looked
don't
at
get
it
into
like-
my field.
Listen, if
No,
I'm
no, that's-
lying, tell me I'm lying. But that's
No,
how mine
you're
is.
not
No,
lying.
you're-
It's
you're
taken
dead
so
on.
Much work.
Yeah.
So much work. I become a teacher instead. I become a design teacher for people
So
who
you can
want
just,
to
you know-
work.
Oh, so you're
in-house.
propagating the pain.
Yeah. So you're just
Yeah.
a pimp.
I just work
pretty
in
much.
insurance claims.
Okay,
Yeah.
Kaiser.
I take back my remark that most women are hoes. Some of them are pimps. So
That's fine. In fact,
Kai,
I'm doing a graphic design live stream tomorrow.
Nice.
Thank
Just-
you.
I'm gonna
Excited
agree again.
because we all
I might have
need-
to come by and grade you.
Go feel
I
alive.
need Helen like excited. I need hand over hand Helen Keller like water. Like that's what that's
Come
what I
along
need.
and join in. It'll be live. I'm going to be photoshopping Canva, all those sorts of things. I'm going to be working on Dali's channel branding tomorrow. And people can
Awesome.
just ask me questions as I go along because I'm used to it. That's what I do. Like people just do online lessons with me and I walk them through things and they can just ask me questions. So I figure why not stream that
Yeah.
That is
and have a little
Nice.
chat about trials while we're
Yeah.
at it.
yeah.
awesome. Sounds great.
Kaiser, your time to grift.
Well, I'm Kaiser Pineapple. I'm some sub Z-list YouTuber who was. I'm just some dumbass that they. I'm lucky enough to have friends that are much more smart than I am. They are more smarter than I is. I just talk good and funny and stuff and blah. And I just happen to be do a little bit of movie and entertainment news here and there. I cover movies, what's going on in Hollywood, and also I like to dip into the unexplained and kind of do a little investigative entertainment, as I call it, and cover on that. So join me on Wednesdays and Thursdays for my live streams. I've got videos that come out every single day. And yeah, it's gonna be fun. Been recently covering the Ahsoka series from Star Wars, just kind of that shit show. And then
that's a fun one.
I'm
The
looking
Force
at
is
possibly on
female.
Wednesday. I might be. I don't want to give away what I'm doing for Wednesday's show, for Edge of Reality, but it's
involves
it's a UFO story, and it's one that you know.
Phoenix Lights.
Older.
Okay.
Signals, signs.
Everybody, thank everybody for showing up. I'm
Yes.
going to redirect you to David's stream.
Hopefully.
Thank you all for showing up. Thank you all for listening. And
Thank you for having us.
because I have been too drunk the entire time, and it's all because of Brandon.
Hey, we've carried you, brother.
A big
We've carried
surprise.
you.
I should have been in bed 5 hours ago, and I haven't been.
3 for me.
And yeah, so thank you all for showing up. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for being a part of my this Friday, whatever it is. Thank you all. Thank you so much.
All right, good night,
Goodbye,
guys.
everybody. I love you.
Anyone want to talk about